Quite cheap, but do not use. Still discovery. Video.
Drain it. Drain.
Drain it. 39 million, 39 billion. Million. Yeah.
Hello, niece and nephew, it's Uncle Roger. Today, Uncle Roger gonna react to this video requested by so many niece and nephew out there. It's Jamie Oliver making egg fried rice. Jamie Oliver is professional chef, very established, everybody knows him. So Uncle Roger thinks this one is gonna be good. I've been to many of his restaurants. Before we start video, niece and nephew, please smack the like button now like you slap the bag of rice. Don't make Uncle Roger sad. Smack like button. Now let's start the video.
Egg fried rice, it's an absolute classic, and I've got
2 seconds into video and I already see sauce, pan, hiya. Where your wok? Jamie, where your wok? Egg fried rice need to use wok because you need the wok. Hey, many people asking Uncle Roger, what is wok? Hey, it is the breath of wok. When you cook with wok, the wok gives the food flavor. Get the wok, hey. No such thing as saucepan, hey. Jamie, you have 25 cookbooks, but you can't afford one wok. Uncle Roger sent you one wok for free, Jamie. No problem.
I absolutely love making this recipe. Yes, you can do this as a side dish, no trouble at all, but actually, it's heading towards being a really beautiful dinner. So,
Wait,
yes, you can do this as a side dish.
Jamie saying egg fried rice is side dish? When Uncle Roger growing up, when my mom made me egg fried rice, that is the main dish. I never tell my mom, oh mom, this egg fried rice is only side dish. Where's the main dish? Where's the main dish? I would have been beaten to death.
So fry these spices up, and as this pan gets nice and hot, I'm going to go in with 1 tablespoon of olive oil. And
What? 1 tablespoon of what?
I'm going to go in with 1 tablespoon of olive oil.
Olive oil for egg fried rice? Who uses olive oil for egg fried rice? Are you making salad? Olive oil is like white people oil, not suitable for Asian dishes like egg fried rice.
And I'm going to go straight in with the onions. And we'll get them sizzling straight away.
sizzling.
No.
Sizzling.
Spring onion is garnish. It's garnish. You put spring onion as the last thing in your meal, not the first thing in the frying pan. Hiya.
Get them sizzling straight away.
No, you don't sizzle spring onion. Nobody sizzles spring onion. If you cook spring onion now, it will wilt. It will. This should be garlic. First step should be garlic. This first 3 steps all wrong already. I thought you professional chef, you have website and everything. Uncle Roger don't even have website, and Uncle Roger knows you fucked up.
And then I've got some packet pre-cooked rice. Yes, you can cook your own.
Packet. This guy owns so many restaurants, and he still can't be bothered to make his own rice. Packet rice. Imagine if you go to Japanese restaurant and you ask for noodle, and the chef gives you instant noodle. That is what this guy is doing.
And rice, white rice, 12 minutes. But for stir-fried rice, you have to drain it and chill it.
You have to chill it. Correct, but don't drain rice. Uncle Roger made a whole video, 12 million views now, of Auntie Gerja draining rice. Don't drain rice, but chill rice, correct. 45 seconds in, first thing he got correct.
So for me, that feels like a big chick. You can hear it sizzling.
You hear sizzling, I hear my ancestors crying.
It's fast, it's hot, it's furious. I'm just going to toss it around. Right, then it...
Oh, Uncle Roger don't like the look of this. Take the ingredient from this drawer, and this drawer is so white. Because Asian ingredient never come in jar. You ever notice that? Asian ingredient always come in plastic bag or bag packaging. If your packaging look this nice jar, nice bag over there, it's not Asian ingredient.
Next ingredient, I have it in my home all the time, chili jam.
It's why I tell you, it's not Asian ingredient. What are you doing with chili jam? Let's see.
For cooking. It's got heat, but it's also got the sweetness, and it's going to kind of go.
Putting jam in rice. This is disgusting. Who put jam? First of all, what is chili jam? Uncle Roger knows fresh chili, chili oil, chili flake. Never heard of chili jam. This is how you trick people to eating chili. When you give them fresh chili, go, no, I don't actually like chili. Give them chili jam, they go, oh. Chili jam is so weird thing to use. Jamie, do you know about sriracha? This is Asian chili. Just use this. No need to use jam. What are you gonna put in there next? Peanut butter. Okay, why do you go with PB&J egg fried rice? How many things can the chef get wrong in one video? Hiya!
2 nice teaspoons go in, go out, man, and then start tossing again.
He tossed very cold, but he tossed all the wrong stuff. All style, no substance.
That'll start to coat every single rice grain, and it'll shine in the most beautiful way. And then just give it a little splash of water.
No. In the middle of cooking, you put water. Uncle Roger says, if your rice too wet, you fucked up. But if your rice too dry, you also fucked up.
At this stage, just push the rice up the side of the pan, like that, and then straight into the middle. We're going to crack in 2 beautiful free-range eggs.
Okay. Okay, the egg look good,
And then it's time for the last ingredient, which again, to a lot of people,
Be reaching for that shelf. So Uncle Roger don't think it's gonna end well. Uncle Roger just don't like that shelf. I think it's wrong shelf for egg fried rice. Maybe during filming they put the wrong shelf there, and Jamie's like, oh shit, you bought the wrong shelf. What I do now? And the filming people are like, we don't care, just use whatever in the shelf.
people is a bit of a new ingredient. Tofu.
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 Put the tofu in juice box. Who made the tofu? Capri Sun? When Uncle Roger buy tofu in Asian market, always come in plastic bag, plastic steel wrapping. No tofu look like juice box. What are you gonna poke straw and drink the tofu?
50 grams. And what you can do is just break this up.
No,
And it cooks.
no, no. He make Uncle Roger put my leg down from chair. Baked tofu like how Auntie Helen baked Uncle Roger. Asian cooking, when you cook tofu, you preserve the whole shape of tofu and serve to customer. This video, so many sad things happen. He wastes the spring onion, he wet the rice, and now he tear apart the tofu like paper. I don't know if Uncle Roger can go on. This depression is too much.
I want chunks of it and I want little bits. So, the nice thing about this stir-fried rice is it's kind of random.
What you say?
Random.
The nice thing about the stir-fried rice is it's
Yeah.
Random is not possible. You make food for your friend one day, and your friend say, "Why your food so random?" And Jamie say, "Oh my God, so random." Gonna start restaurant.
seasoned with a little salt. Give it a little toss.
Salt again, no MSG. But Uncle Roger talk about MSG. Too many video now.
Mix it all up, and then we're ready to serve. Get a bowl. Put a little oil.
This guy loves olive oil like how Auntie Hersha loves olive. He put olive oil and you shower with olive oil also. Don't go get massage from Jamie Oliver. He will put olive oil in your body.
Best dishes and that kind of street food, which is beautiful, is often associated with being unhealthy. This has been made to be healthy.
If by healthy you mean disgusting, then Jamie, you are right.
I can have that as a meal. I think it's time to have a little.
This rice looks so wet. Look at this. You can see your reflection inside. Mulan is gonna start singing when she sees this rice.
So silky and delicious. Looks fantastic. It's really good fun to make.
Jamie is professional chef. All the steps he messed up. Does this guy hate rice or something? What else has he done with rice? Oh, this guy, I think he just hates rice in general. Maybe he's sponsored by Potato Company. They are competition. Uncle Roger don't like this Jamie Oliver recipe. Too wet, no garlic, no MSG. He break the tofu, no wok. It's all wrong. Subscribe to Uncle Roger channel for more videos. See you next time. Bye bye. Hello. Hiya, this wire is so annoying. Uncle Roger hates recording video like this. Niece and nephew, if you want to sponsor Uncle Roger AirPods, let Uncle Roger know. Send me AirPods Pro, not the cheap AirPod, regular AirPods Pro. Oh, Uncle Roger like to put nice.
Here's the straight dog.
Anything else, Professor?
Try fast.
放眼界位准备好，请检查。
Trade 90+ stock markets worldwide on select ETFs and options around the clock from your local device. Not sure where to start with options? Ask Options Wizard to get some standard strategies. Download IBKR Global Trader today.
In Sydney immigration, officers are concerned about a New Zealand passenger who has arrived with his wife and 3 children.
Are you a permanent resident of Australia?
While his family have already crossed the border, the man has just been taken into an interview room for questioning.
What is the purpose of coming to Australia today? What is it? How long do you intend to stay in Australia? So good.
Officers have discovered that he's made a false declaration on his passenger card about his past criminal activity.
This is
The
copyright.
reason why I didn't know is because
Not because
all the
not
convictions
because
I had were
Your
like
head,
10 years
lah.
ago.
Okay.
I automatically thought of, I've had convictions from 10 years ago that, well, I've been in trouble for 10 years, so
Okay. So you actually have criminal convictions?
yes, I have, but the
More than 10 years ago?
more than 10 years ago, yes.
Clearly says, do you have any criminal convictions? It does not exclude anything. You know,
Yeah,
10 years back, it
yeah,
doesn't
I
say
think that's
that.
where I didn't read that properly, yes.
Okay. So you understand that it wasn't declared correctly?
The passenger will now have to make a list of his prior convictions.
I wouldn't know what they are straight off the top of my head.
A memory lapse right now won't help reunite him with his wife and children across the border. customs officers are trained to spot specific signs that could reveal whether a passenger is bringing anything illegal over the border. When this man arrived from Vietnam, several alarming indicators led officers to investigate.
He seemed a bit nervous coming down the stairs, avoiding eye contact as well. So I just thought that I needed to have a closer look at him. I'm just going to check the other day. He doesn't have the key, so I'm going to have to open it. I'm going to have to break the lock. I'm going to have to break the lock. So while you were here, how do you support yourself? Do you work here? Do you work in Australia? No. Where are you getting your money from?
Like any capital city, Sydney is a haven for illegal workers, people who have overstayed their visas and have managed to stay under immigration's radar. But today, compliance officers are working with the New South Wales Police and the Department of Transport in a joint operation to check for illegals.
The police and the Department of Transport stop the vehicles, they do their vehicle inspection, they pass on driver information to us. We run it through our systems. We see if those people are of interest to us. If they are, we'd have a talk to them.
Excuse me, right on from the Ministry of Transport. I'd just like to check the operation of the safety camera.
Can I ask you, you're an Australian citizen, permanent resident? You're a citizen, okay. Now, what name would be on your passport?
On the passport?
On your passport, yeah. Okay, you just tell me, what name's on your passport?
Because I'm applying for the Australian passport.
Okay, I'll just ask you, you came to Australia, what name would you
Okay, what is young lady?
Okay, how come you got this other name? What's this other name?
Yeah, because I
Change your what in Australia? You change it to Australia?
A team is waiting at Immigration Sydney offices to access a database and cross-check the information given by the driver. Checks back to base are proving negative as the driver's name can't be found.
Eric, still nothing's coming up in our system. So this is the name you entered in Australia.
Where are you getting your money from? Yeah, in Vietnam. But you said that you live here.
A passenger is giving vague answers to some simple questions.
Where are you getting your money from to support yourself in Australia? Yeah, your friend. Okay, so you only stay here for 2 or 3 weeks.
Officer Huda suspects the passenger is not revealing his real reason for arriving here and discusses her concerns with her supervisor.
He said that he comes here for 2 or 3 weeks. Just to visit. He's got friends here. First he told me that he lives at that address, and now he's telling me that his friend lives at this address. So it's just inconsistent.
So where does he work? Here or there?
He works over there, he doesn't work here. But it just doesn't add up.
I know I've just been done for drink driving and driving while disqualified.
At Sydney Immigration, this passenger is trying to make an accurate list of his past criminal convictions in order to be considered for a visa, so that he can join his wife and children who have already cleared customs and immigration.
Now, before you go ahead, I'll just remind you that, making a false declaration itself could be, another offense. Okay? Once you finish this, we will ask you to sign a consent to get information from police. We'll find out what convictions you have and your children.
While there's rough recall, the list includes convictions for drink driving, assault on a female, and intent to injure.
You have some.
I went along with it my decision is
What was the sentence? For how long?
2 years.
With this emerging string of convictions and his time in jail exceeding 12 months, he's going to have to provide a good reason why he should be allowed to stay.
I got nothing to hide. That's my right number down. Yeah, I got nothing to hide. Yeah.
And now officers make an alarming discovery.
Have you been to Australia before?
In 1999, yes.
In 1999.
Yeah, I was deported.
When did you become a Australian citizen? Compliance officers in Sydney have been checking the bona fides of a taxi driver whose wife has just been confirmed as an Australian citizen.
When did you become an Australian citizen? Just said recently. That's right. He just told us. That's what he told us. Okay, that's good. Okay. We're happy with him. I think the police just still sort you out, and I'll probably let you go in a minute. As far as immigration's concerned, you're okay, so don't worry about that.
As one driver gets the all clear, officers are now checking another man who might now be wishing he'd taken the day off.
We have a person who's interest to us, so just some checks take a face. So his visa might expired a while ago. I haven't spoken yet. Just give Andrew to finish the checks, and we'll go and probably to get him to reverse the car and have a check with him and get some people from the office to come and pick him up.
A passenger who was turned around a few years ago has tried to deceive immigration by not declaring his criminal convictions, in the hope that this time he might make it across the border.
Well, it's a long story because at that time my boy was sick with leukemia, and we wanted to come over here because that's where mum and dad was, you see. And I had not long been out of jail then, and I never had enough character reference for Australian consulate to give me the visa, so my visa got declined, and I just chanced it. Just jumped on the plane in New Zealand and then got here, and I ended up in this office here.
Oh, okay, so you saying that when you traveled today, you knew that this possibility?
I knew that from the last time.
Oh, okay.
Well, yeah, because I tried coming here in 1999.
Right.
Yeah.
So you had that in your mind that you might be refused?
Yeah, I had it in my mind that I might be coming back in here again.
Right.
Yeah.
Did you actually apply for a visa this time?
No. Because it had been so long before I had come over anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
And when you traveled last time, did you put yes on the form?
I did what I did there. I read no. They already had the information, so when I handed my passport up there, the red light come on straight away, and then I'd come to here.
We'll just stop the interview for a few minutes, and I'll come back. Him being previously refused entry to Australia, and he's actually done the same thing previously. He did not declare on the passenger card, and then later, when he was interviewed, he declared it. So once we done the interview, the police checks from New Zealand police, we'll make a decision whether to grant him a visa or not.
Customs are questioning a passenger who's been vague about his recent trip to Vietnam.
Before, you told me that you live here.
Yeah.
And you go to Vietnam for holiday or for work?
For work.
For work. Okay. Do you work here? No.
Some people I go to holiday in Vietnam.
Okay, so you work in a hotel in Vietnam?
Yeah.
Yes? Okay. How long do you stay in Vietnam to work?
6 months. I want to talk with them.
Sorry? I'm not understanding what you're saying. Could we get...
A Vietnamese-speaking officer is called in to help with the investigation.
He's going to head to Halong Bay.
Yeah.
At the same time, the tourist operator Halong Bay, he showed people around the area.
His story appears plausible, but officers must carry out further testing to be 100% sure he is in fact a legitimate traveller.
Okay.
An X-ray of his empty bag comes up clear. A swab is taken of his belongings. If it tests positive for drugs, it might provide a reason for the passenger's mysterious behaviour. At Sydney Immigration, officers are discussing the case of a New Zealand passenger who was sent home once before and has now tried to enter the country without declaring his criminal convictions.
He hasn't declared them because he was more than 10 years old, and he thought that if it is more than 10 years old, he doesn't have to declare.
Okay, so he's spent more than 3 years in prison, all up.
That's right.
Yeah. So he's come here knowing that if he's referred at the border, it's likely he'll be refused. He admitted that. I think he's ticked no to avoid being referred to immigration.
Yes.
Which I think on his previous entry he admitted that he intentionally ticked no to avoid being referred.
Yes.
Okay. Well, we'll organise a police check and then we'll go from there.
Meanwhile, the passenger seems oblivious to the serious implications of his attempt to bypass the system.
Yeah, no, I just filled out the application wrong. Just read it all and all this just ended up here, really. Yeah, so, if I had filled it out correctly, I'd probably still ended up over here anyways. Hopefully all goes well, that's all I can say, really.
A taxi driver has just parked himself right in the middle of a joint operation between immigration compliance officers, the police, and Department of Transport.
Can you, we look like might have a go here, can you get it some people, you and someone else to come pick this guy up?
It seems this taxi driver not only isn't supposed to be working, but he shouldn't even be in the country.
You have no visa in Australia at the moment. Okay, you have no visa in Australia. How's that? You have no visa. Okay, you have no visa. What we need to do is interview you further, okay? Currently, I want you to stay here. We're going to get someone to come out from the office, and then you're going to take our office and interview you, okay? Now, I can't let you go. You have no visa. So we only have two options when we locate someone, is to either to give them a short-term visa or to detain them at Bilwood.
While the taxi driver seems confident he'll be granted a visa, the Department of Transport officers will remove his authority card so he can't drive again until the issue is resolved.
Actually, it's happened to me before.
Well, you're almost at the end of your immigration pathway. There's, you apply for basically everything, I mean, you should be really looking at going home because, I mean, you've applied for the visa you applied for have been unsuccessful.
The driver was taken to Bilwood Immigration Detention Centre, where he remains while arrangements are made for his removal from Australia. In customs, officers are questioning a passenger returning from Vietnam. They've taken swabs of his belongings and are about to find out whether he's come in contact with drugs. The officer presses the passenger about the positive readings.
Do any of your friends, have they ever taken drugs? Sorry? You don't know? So you don't know why your bag has come up positive for heroin? You don't use drugs at all? I'm gonna do it again.
A second swab is taken.
Positive for heroin?
The officers have already checked his bags, so they turn their attention back to the passenger.
Just want to detain you for the purpose of official search. see me okay? Okay. Would you read both sides of this card? This officer, what he's going to do is perform Chris when he stands on the outside of your clothes. Read this, or follow the officer's instructions.
Do you want it done here or inside? It's up to you.
Nothing in your pocket?
At Sydney Immigration, information has just come through from New Zealand Police about a passenger's criminal activities, so Officer Rafiq consults his duty manager.
His defense for not declaring it was that, he didn't have anything in the last 10 years, which is not true either, because he had.
The passenger's plans of starting a new life in Australia with his wife and kids might be fading away. Realising he could be in trouble, the passenger wants to speak to his wife.
About if I can bring the wife's cell phone number.
Yeah, or will give you the numbers, okay?
About now.
A frisk on a passenger returning from Vietnam has failed to locate anything.
Do you have anything in his
But officers are still not satisfied with his story, so he's taken into an interview room for further questioning.
Okay, just follow me.
There's several factors that simply can't be ignored, including positive heroin readings and nervous behaviour.
We suspect that he might be concealing something internally.
And what happens next adds to their suspicions.
The person of interest is to use the toilet. We found a empty pink condom tied at one end, and this may indicate that something has burst inside, or it might be the outer covering of another package.
The discovery means there's now a serious medical situation, and an ambulance is called immediately.
Our main concern now is for his well-being, because it appears it may have burst in his stomach. He may start suffering from the effects of an overdose, drug overdose. Our other concern is that he still has other packages in there, and we need to make sure there is no more. So we've now handed it over to the Australian Federal Police, and I'll take the matters on further.
Wow! 細隻咗咁多。
At Sydney Immigration, a New Zealand passenger who was previously turned back at the border due to non-declared criminal convictions is about to find out he's wasted money on the airfare yet again.
As you can see, you have convictions more than 12 months. You do not satisfy that criteria, therefore we are refusing your entry to Australia and refusing you to grant a special category visa. Okay, so you understand the situation now. Okay, that's the letter for you to keep. Okay. That's for your record. You don't want it? But I've given you a copy. I have to give you a copy.
No,
you can.
What's the use of carrying on the deck when I've got to go home anyway now?
Now, if you do wish to come back to Australia, you can.
I don't want to be thinking, I don't want to pay 3 lists of things.
Now, you can go back to the Australian bank.
I'm sorry for saying everything's explained and stuff. I just want to get out of here.
All right. Well, this is my job to explain to you.
Yeah, well, I don't want to hear it. I just don't want to hear it.
Okay, that's fine. So you just want to contact your wife, okay?
Now his wife is about to learn that her husband won't be joining her today.
What are you worried about us for? I'm not worried about trying to get to Australia anymore. That's what I'm trying to say. Then why are you going to have to come home?
I think he knew when he came here today that he may be refused entry to Australia. Now, he did try to deceive us, but the record's clear.
Yeah, I thought I would have got through easy yesterday, but I'm not even getting it, so good on them. You can tell they do their job properly and do it well too, so good work.
It's a baby for good life.
But today in Melbourne, officers are suspicious of this passenger who has returned from Vietnam with nothing but a small bag. And he seems to be in an unusual hurry.
He's been away on holiday just visiting relatives, but he's decided to come back to Australia early. So he's left his wife and family back in Vietnam. He's claiming that, he's very poor, so he needs to go back to work. I just basically want to have a chat to him to assess, why he's come back and to make sure that it was a valid reason. You're nervous? It's alright, if you have nothing, no problem. You'll be out the door soon. We have to check.
Why do you check?
Because I don't know you.
You can check anywhere you want.
So why is this the only thing you bring back? What about the rest of your stuff?
I want you.
You keep them? So you're going to let her bring everything back? Yeah. Make her do it.
The more customs inquire about the passenger's travel habits and his minimal wardrobe, the more agitated he becomes.
Why? How many stuff you look everywhere? How many stuff? I don't do like this.
Look at you too.
And he doesn't understand why there's such a large interest in his few belongings.
You can see it. You see the camera, I can see it. Here, what am I saying? No.
Calm down. Calm down.
Immigration is always on the lookout for passengers who have multiple trips in and out of the country in order to renew their tourist visa. This can indicate they're working here illegally, and that's exactly what officers suspect this passenger is up to.
This man has arrived from New Zealand today. He's a Malaysian citizen. He initially told us that he was simply in Australia to look after his niece, as her parents have gone to India for an extended period. I have some concerns with that because the niece that he's here to look after is an adult already, and I don't really see any reason for him to be here for an extended period.
Officers have also discovered some suspicious documents in the passenger's bags. So Officer Paul will now interview him.
Okay, I might say at the start that I have some concerns with all this documentation that you have. It raises in my mind the issue that possibly you are working here in violation of your visa conditions.
I'm not working.
When we do your bag search, we find out all this information which is not relating to looking after your needs. This is actually getting involved in a business area, isn't it?
No, I'm not getting involved in any business. I needed to look after the house, the dog, and the daughter.
Okay. What does this one mean, card sale, this heading here?
Card sale is basically, my niece is running a shop. Yep, it's a convenience store. So when I have time, she asked me to go to the shop and take some details for her because she is basically the one in charge of all the accounts. Yep. So I just take the details for her and put it forward to her.
Are you helping out at the shop at times?
Just to take the accounts from them.
But I would think that is not something that a normal tourist would do on a normal holiday.
Each and every item of mail that comes into Australia is thoroughly checked by customs and quarantine officers trained to look for a number of details that indicate something might not be what it's supposed to be.
This is from Peru, so that immediately stands out to me. The declaration is in Spanish, so I don't have a lot of idea what's inside the package. Let's come have a close look at the X-ray image, and that hasn't allayed any of my suspicions. There's a couple of indentations in these cans that we're seeing. It doesn't seem to be one consistent mass inside the can, especially in these two, which are on a different angle for this, so it may be throughout the four of them that there's inconsistency. So I think it's definitely worth a closer look. I'll have it open by AP and see if these inconsistencies are for an explainable reason or whether there's something a bit dodgy going on.
Wait, listen. I told you first. Sit down. I told you first. I told you first. You can't say that. I tell you. Yeah, I tell you. I will help you when you ask me, alright? But I tell you, take very long. I don't like it.
Well, unfortunately, there's things that we don't check.
How long?
We're checking something.
How long?
I can't tell you that.
Why?
Take a seat.
How many? 1, 2, 3, 4. How many? How long?
Take a seat.
Why?
Sit down now and calm down.
Why?
Would you like a glass of water?
More angry, man.
Well, you're not going anywhere, so you can sit down.
Oh, I tell you the truth. I have here. What do I do? I come around.
Sure. He's been upset because he wants to go, but I told him he can't go until we're finished, so he's decided to work on the show. He's been away in Vietnam with his family, like his wife and 3 kids. He got his change ticket a week ago to come back because he said he has no money, he's poor. Obviously, he's been with you, he's told about just around his Roaring area, just to make sure that there's nothing else.
Customs conduct checks with other law enforcement agencies to determine if a passenger is a person of interest. And it seems in this case, those checks at the border might have paid off. At the Sydney Mail Centre, officers have intercepted a suspect package from Peru.
So I've just had this one opened by Australia Post. We're going to see what we see inside, and that's consistent. There we go, there's a number of cans in there.
So far, the contents of the package show nothing of real concern, but Officer Kane knows from experience that often what appears to be normal can be the most suspicious.
It's always good to re-x-ray them individually. We get the whole package, but we can zoom in on one, compare it to another, have a look at them. From the X-ray image, I remember 2 of them looking a little different to the other 2, so these 2 are on this angle. A couple of cans here. Might weigh them as well, see if they're similar weights.
Officers Kane and Bill weigh each can to see if the weight tallies with that indicated on the label.
That's way over the, if you expect with a packaging mistake, if there was anything, there'd probably be less than what's very clear to be, so, or what's said to be, this one's 600. And it's also way over, so an error in what's declared as the weight of the contents and what's actually showing up on the scales just indicates to us that there's something not quite right, might have been tampered with, especially considering that it's a lot more than what it's said to be on the package. Next step, we'll have a look at the X-ray image of these 2 individual cans. There seems to be some inconsistencies. There's an uneven mass inside, particularly this can, you can see there.
Should be more, there shouldn't just be a big block or something there. It should be just be something more loose.
Yeah, you'd expect it to be like discernible chunks.
There are now more than enough reasons for the officers to take the cans to the investigations room and reveal their true contents.
There's a bit of liquid in there. Oh, look at that.
A businessman seems to be having a very long holiday in Australia, and immigration is concerned that he might be here to work illegally.
I cannot understand why you would be here on a holiday visa when you have a business to run at home. You have a wife at home, do you have children?
Yes, one is in Manchester studying biotechnology, and one is with my wife. She's 12 years old.
Okay, so you haven't seen your 12-year-old for 6 months now?
That's right. But I communicate with him every day.
It still seems very strange to me that you are here basically to look after a 20-year-old niece that you have?
When it's a family member, we help out.
But as a family member, you would appear to be doing some assistance to their business.
I assist them, but I don't gain anything out of it.
So what days would you visit the shop?
Oh, I would just visit on a weekend.
The passenger insists that he's not being paid for his assistance. So now Officer Paul will contact Denise to verify his story.
Hi, my name is Paul. I'm with Immigration at Sydney Airport. Were you expecting anyone from overseas today?
And if their stories don't match, this businessman will have a lot of explaining to do. In customs, officers are assessing a suspicious passenger who's returned from Vietnam with little more than the clothes on his back, and maybe a checkered past.
Just done some intel checks and it's turned out that the police may have an interest and there could be an outstanding warrant for his arrest. Maybe. Why would the police come for you though? Well, you just asked me if the police are coming for you. People don't normally ask that unless they're in trouble with the police.
Yeah, I don't know something wrong.
What have you done?
I don't know nothing wrong.
You haven't done anything wrong. That's why I have some concern. It's like he's carrying on a bit and it could be a diversion tactic, so that's just something that we'll assess a bit further. I think you're in trouble with the police. We think the police may want to speak to you, so we're just checking. Yeah. So you can just wait. Sit down. Not going anywhere anyway. Okay? So, I can't tell you. The police will get here when they get here.
Right. Upset, right? Okay. I want to go home, right? Go, please.
EHC Intracero IP for face for 2 times lifting power.
And every that's Monday to Friday or just weekends or? Okay. No worries. Bye bye. Okay, I've just spoken with the passenger's niece on the telephone. At this stage, I think we have a number of discrepancies.
There are now real concerns about the passenger's intentions, so Officer Paul consults with his supervisor.
He appears to be taking an active role in the business. He describes it simply as helping out his family members.
In return for what?
In return for nothing, he says he gets nothing out of it.
Okay, so you could actually be setting up temporary residency in Australia without actually going through a process. It's quite possible.
The passenger will now have to explain some of the changes in his story.
I contacted your niece. I spoke with her, and she's given me some quite different information to what you have told me. She's told me that you were there on a part-time basis, working a couple of hours each day, Monday to Friday. Your niece has told me. Your niece is the manager of the business.
No doubt about it. That's right. She
would know who is in her shops on a day-to-day basis.
Yes, but I was not the full-time player there. Sometimes 2 or 3 days in a week. Sometimes on the weekends.
Okay, so you are there sometimes during the week. Because a couple of minutes ago you told me never during the week. In most weeks, how many days would they be wrong?
4 to 5 days for sure.
That's very different to what you told me initially. I feel that we have enough information to show that you have breached your visa conditions by working in Australia whilst you were holding a tourist visa.
Now Officer Paul hands the passenger a notice of intention to cancel his visa.
Oh no.
No, it's not beans.
At the Sydney Mail Centre, officers have opened one of 4 cans found in a package from Peru.
Probably one of the better concern ones I've seen in a Campbelltown. We have seen this method before. You can see sometimes tampering around the edges. This doesn't appear to have any of that. The labelling is intact and in line, and it's a pretty professional concealment.
Whatever the contents may be, they've been carefully wrapped in foil, then carbon paper before being placed in a condom and suspended in water.
I'll probably do atomizer.
Yeah, I think if we just poke into that without bringing it out.
Yep.
Officers very carefully extract a small sample from the concealment.
Surface now. Doesn't identify as a white powder. Inside that package, it seems to be right at the top too, so it's probably right through that package inside that we can see. So that sample you got on the end of the spike there, we'll just take an atomizer scan. We only need a tiny amount, it doesn't really have to be anything substantial.
The itomizer, one of Customs' main trace detection tools, will be able to identify even the smallest particles of drugs. It's a significant detection.
Happy to say that's cocaine.
These 4 cans and their contents will now be handed over to the federal police.
With small packages like that, we tend to get a lot of small finds. This is probably the biggest I've seen. It's definitely the biggest I've seized.
The cans of beans were found to contain almost 2 kilograms of cocaine, with an estimated street value of up to $270,000. In Melbourne, Customs officers need to make sure that this passenger doesn't pose any other threat to the border.
What we want to do first is to have some concerns you may be carrying something on your body. Okay? That you may be carrying drugs on your body. What I'm going to do is detain you for a frisk search. Okay? No, don't take anything off. We don't want you to take your clothes off.
In immigration, a passenger who has admitted to working illegally in Australia on a tourist visa is about to explain why he should be allowed to enter the country.
Basically, my intention was here just to be a tourist. Yes. I'm the only son right now to the whole family after my elder brother died, passed away in 2006. So I'm the only one who is running around. So whenever we request for assistance from each other, we try to see what we can do for each other. That's all I got to say, sir.
I will suspend the interview at this point. I will go and consider what you have told me. I believe he is here to be with his niece, but I really don't think that's the only reason that he's here. He got accepted into a family business and started working on performing duties that would be construed as work.
It's an anxious wait for the passenger as immigration decides whether or not he'll be allowed to enter the country or be sent home to Malaysia.
I have considered your response to the notice of intention to consider cancellation of your visa, and I have considered the evidence available. You admit that you have worked in your family's convenience stores in Sydney. The reasons you have provided in response to this do not explain why the grounds for cancellation do not exist, nor why your visa should not be cancelled. Therefore, I am not satisfied you are visiting Australia temporarily for tourism purposes. So, we will be cancelling your visa today, and we'll be returning you to, or removing you from Australia today.
I did not know that assisting the family means it's taken in the other way around here. So I can't, I can't debate on that because that's how they look at it. So, well, I don't have much to say about that.
What's this, sir?
Well,
Okay.
how many
No, don't take anything off. Don't take anything off.
No. If you scare,
We don't want you to take your clothes off.
if you scare, I have hot people too.
Put your pants up.
I can take.
Put your pants up. Put your pants up.
I have a tool, I don't take nothing. You see? You look that up. You see? Okay?
Okay.
Yeah, you see? I don't scare.
It'll be much easier for everyone for us to just do this.
From a customs point of view, we're satisfied that he's not bringing anything into the country. However, there are other issues that need to be dealt with today.
I don't want you to work. I want you to learn good. I can come out with it easy. See? In trouble. I don't know. See?
The passenger mistakenly thought that by travelling light, he'd avoid a customs inspection.
You do this much quicker. Quicker.
Yeah. Don't take longer. Very long.
There's two outstanding warrants because the rest. So the police are on their way now.
I'm scared. I like it. Very quick. I don't know. Why? So long.
Now, what we need to do is wait for the police to come and talk to you.
I don't know why. You ask me why. I don't know why.
Okay. Well, when they get here, they will explain to you why they need to talk to you. Okay? You're on their way, so they won't be long.
There's an awkward moment at Sydney Immigration. Officer Greg and this German passenger, just off a 26-hour flight, are waiting for a German interpreter.
Yes.
When the interpreter is on the line,
Okay, can you tell me about the reason why you're coming to Australia?
Officer Greg can now question Guido about his intentions in Australia.
I came to Australia to work for my boss in Switzerland.
Okay, can you tell me exactly what you will be doing?
In building, construction,
Okay, doing what?
supervisor, building supervisor.
And what type of construction will you be
Was für
supervising?
eine ist das eine Hochbuilding oder eine Hause oder was wird das sein?
Da werden Betonsilos gebaut.
It will be a cement, a silo.
A cement factory silo.
Ja.
How long have you worked for this company?
Only this year.
So far, Guido's plans to work in Australia seem to check out, but immigration can't allow him to enter the country until they get the full picture.
Now, you've come to Australia on a short stay electronic business visa. Okay, now, one of the conditions of the visa is no criminal conviction. Now, Guido, what we need to talk about now is your past.
Ja, wir müssen von jetzt nachdenken.
Quarantine officers x-ray thousands of parcels every day at Sydney's International Mail Centre. Today, 2 packages from South Africa have caught the attention of Officer Kim. She's noticed that the x-ray doesn't match the declarations on the parcels.
One said it's a Lonely Planet guide to South Africa, and the other one has a Springboks Road, New Jersey. And obviously the fact that they don't, nothing in there looks like it could be either of those.
The image on the x-ray indicates something much more disturbing.
It clearly looks like there's 2 snakes in the box. You can see the way they're coiled, which indicates that they're probably live snakes. The first box looks like it could just be one that's coiled up. The second box, there's a darker area, which may indicate the presence of 2 heads, so there could be 2 snakes.
Now Officer Kim briefs her supervisors.
We'll have to treat that as a live snake.
Yeah, we'll call the quarantine meeting and they'll take it away to somewhere where it can be opened more safely.
This passenger has revealed his plans to work in Australia, but his past may prevent him from entering the country.
Okay, now Guido, do you have any criminal convictions?
In Germany?
Yeah, cartons.
Yes, I do.
Can you tell me what your convictions were?
It was to have to do with drugs and cocaine.
Guido explains he was involved with narcotics, although the details he's providing are sketchy.
Okay, were you selling drugs?
Die haben gekauft in
I did buy that in Holland, and I did sell it in Germany.
How long was the sentence for?
7 Jahre.
7 years, 7 years.
Okay, when did you get out of town?
That's last year.
Okay, your criminal convictions are quite long. So 7 years is a long time. What I need to do, Guido, is I need to discuss why you're coming to Australia, and I need to discuss your past background with my manager.
Guido knows it's crunch time. His past could be catching up with him.
And if I cannot stay here for these 4 weeks and work with this company, then I'm going to lose my job with the company, which is very important. So to me, it is very, very important that I can fulfill this job.
The kitchen has always been my happy place. It is where I spend good times with my son. One day I was sick.
A quarantine vet has been called to Sydney's mail centre to examine 2 post parcels from South Africa. Officers suspect they could contain more than one snake.
Yeah, no, we go definitely on. We have heads, tail, yeah, no, we move it on there. So it looks like we've got 1 in each, possibly 2. They've actually fed it. You can actually see a bit of what they've put in there. And we've actually got all the other, so it's definitely live. What we'll do is we'll do a procedure as normal, right? And we'll just bag them up.
Officers need to seal the packages because this is now a major quarantine risk.
They know what little pathogen these guys have. We seal so that it's continuity of evidence. That way we have chain of evidence for a court case if we need it.
Expert snake handlers will open the parcels in a controlled room at Taronga Zoo, where anti-venom is available.
Okay, Chris, how you going, mate? So these came in the mail, did they?
Yeah, they did. X-rays show that there's should be 2 in each. So 2 distinct heads, 2 distinct tails in both of them.
The thing with this is we can't assume that it's not a dangerous animal.
This couple has just arrived from Vietnam, and while the weather might be a little cooler in Sydney, there's another reason they are wearing so many clothes.
Oh my goodness, you got a supermarket. Goodness me!
Quarantine officer Rose Marie has just discovered that both of the passengers' suitcases are filled with food and medicines, and that leaves no room for clothes or hats.
Oh, lots of medicine. Medicine for you? Oh. Okay. That one for your brain?
Good now. Yeah.
For your throat? Oh goodness, you got the whole pharmacy.
While the couple has done the right thing and declared all of their goods, they don't speak any English, so they're trying to communicate any way they can.
Okay. Okay. Not sure what that means. T. I'm just checking. Hang on. I just checked for insects. Just check.
While the noodles are free from contaminants, Officer Rose Marie has found an unusual looking bottle.
Oh, what is this?
The thing with this is we can't assume that it's not a dangerous animal.
Vets at Taronga Zoo don't know how many snakes are in this package, what species they are, and whether or not the snakes are dangerous.
It's a green tree python.
So this is a species from
actually from Southeast Asia, New Guinea, and also they do occur in Northern Australia, different sort of. But it's even though they been sent from Africa, they're actually an Asian species. So, a magnificent animal, Australian New Guinea. So good condition. It's beautiful. It's magnificent.
Luckily, this python has travelled well, but there is one more package to open, and everyone is being very cautious.
Same, another python. Yeah. Green python.
Again, that's probably almost it's mature. Yeah. It's very popular at the moment.
Yeah,
Very expensive in
very,
the
very
amateur reptile.
Yeah.
I've seen people pay $5,000, $6,000, $8,000 for one of these in Australia.
These two snakes are listed under the Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species. Those responsible for their importation without a permit could face a criminal conviction and thousands of dollars in fines.
Unfortunately, the people that send them over here, and probably the people they're going to, just are unaware of the risk or show complete disregard for that risk. And already there's been a number of exotic diseases introduced into Australia that are affecting reptile fauna, particularly snakes. But this is a really tragic thing, I suppose, with us, is that because of the huge risk they pose to native reptiles in Australia, so it's just not worth taking that risk. So euthanasia is the only option, really.
As the packages were destined for Melbourne, customs investigators from Victoria will take up the case.
We'll be passing on all the information from the packages, including the consignor details, to our counterparts in Melbourne. Well, there's substantial penalties under the Wildlife Protection Act that could involve fairly hefty fines and even a jail term.
Vanish now comes in an easy-to-use spray. Just spray it, leave for 5 minutes, and wash. Stick.
Immigration officers need to decide whether this passenger will be allowed to enter the country on a working visa for 28 days. He's here to build a concrete silo, but his visa may be cancelled because of his criminal past.
It's a very recent offence, it's a substantial sentence, and whilst he's only coming in for 28 days, we've got to weigh up, he's just spent almost 7 years in prison for drug offences, and I've got to weigh up whether to let him in for the 28 days and hope he does the right thing, because we're not sure of that.
Here at the border, they don't know enough about Guido's past offences to assess him thoroughly. However, they are concerned he will be a threat to society if allowed to enter Australia.
This is his first job for the company. If he'd been working for the company for 2 years, maybe he was out of jail 3 years ago, he'd overseen these type of constructions 3 or 4 or 5 times before, but this is his training room. I am in two minds in that, yes, it's a benefit, and yes, he's been cooperative, but as you're saying, it's very, very recent.
He should have declared his criminal convictions when applying for his visa in Europe. But Guido has one more chance to plead his case.
We're going to serve him a notice of intention to consider cancelling his visa. What that means is we'll put the reasons why there are grounds to cancel his visa. We'll give him time to think about that, get his response, then we'll make a final decision about what we're going to do. There are two sides to every coin. I mean, the project that he's working on is a fairly big project in a regional centre of Australia. So it certainly would benefit a regional area. That's certainly something we look at. On the other hand, he's got a pretty shady background.
Customs investigations officers are about to execute search and seizure warrants on homes believed to be involved in wildlife smuggling.
The warrants relate to the importation of live snakes into the Sydney postal facility. I believe that the offender or offenders have chosen 3 separate Melbourne residential addresses in order to disguise their identity, and have used false names as well in terms of trying to get around our efforts to detect. The objectives today are to identify the offender or offenders and to gather evidence in relation to these importations.
The warrant teams load their vehicle with equipment in preparation for the unexpected.
While smuggling is cruel and motivated by greed and profit, and so we're trying to identify the people involved in the importation and also get evidence in relation to a prosecution in the future.
The investigations unit heads off to the addresses in question to perform a controlled delivery of the packages.
This color.
Oh, what is
This
this?
color. Wow.
In Sydney, a couple from Vietnam brought with them 2 large suitcases filled only with food and medicine, and one very strange item. Charades doesn't seem to be working.
I have no idea what that means.
But Officer Rose Marie has her suspicions about just what's in the bottle.
Let's see if I can find the word for honey. Maton? No, it didn't. No, it didn't. No, it didn't. That's honey. Honey. Okay. Honey. Yeah? Okay. From Vietnam. Okay.
Some honey and honey products are allowed into Australia, but with a homemade brew like this one, the risk of disease is high.
Now the risk of that is varroa mite or American foul brood. Varroa mite is a threat to Australia's beekeeping industries, and so we don't allow any clouded honey through because we can't be sure there's no contaminants in it. This one is no. This one in the bin. Okay?
Australia is the only country in the world free of varroa mite. If introduced, it could devastate our honey industry. This man's recently been released from prison on drug charges, and although he's been cooperative with immigration, there could be more to his past that they don't know about.
He may very well have undeclared criminal convictions as well. We don't know that. So it's not looking great at this stage for him. But at the end of the day, we have to see what he says, and then we'll make our decision. Now, Guido, what we do need to do, we're going to serve you a notice of intent to consider cancelling your visa. Now, the primary factors that will be considered in making the decision are the purpose of your trip to Australia, the extent of non-compliance with any conditions of your visa, and your behaviour in relation to the department now or on any previous occasion. Now, I'm going to give you 15 minutes to think about anything you want to say to me.
Okay, can I speak now?
Yes, please.
Yeah. But I cannot enter a British job for 28 days, then I lose my job and my whole future will adversely affected by it. And I have no idea how I can get another job in Europe, and I will be stranded. That is about all I can say. I definitely don't want to do anything criminal. My intentions are not criminal. All I want to do is work.
Greg gives Guido time to reflect and consults with his supervisor. But Guido is so passionate about working here, there is concern about how he might react to bad news.
So I don't want to push him too much. He is getting quite agitated now, and his demeanour has changed quite significantly.
Do you think we need to call the police over to sit with you?
Once we cancel the visa, because we don't know his background, there is a chance, small chance perhaps, but there is a chance that he might play out. And he's a big guy. He is a big guy.
In
In Melbourne, Customs Investigations officers are about to search homes believed to be involved in wildlife smuggling. And at one of the addresses, they find some disturbing evidence.
Whoa! Oh my god.
Hundreds of reptiles kept in a range of containers in a backyard storage facility.
There's a lot here. Lots and lots.
Very successful today. A range of different evidentiary material that should go towards proving a case against this particular individual. And I guess one of the challenges with this particular case is that the packages were intercepted in Sydney and the warrant premises were in Melbourne. You know, the parcels were eventually bound for Melbourne, so the officers have gone out and undertaken their warrants and their current inquiries without actually coming into contact with the pythons or the packaging. So it's an excellent result all around today.
追上这种力啊，飞机跑。
This passenger's hopes to work in Australia are about to be shattered.
I know he's only here for 28 days, but he's been sentenced to almost 7 years imprisonment for drug offences. They're fairly recent. He only got out last year, and he's ticked no on his passenger card and not declared them to us today. So I think that we really can't let him in. Like, I don't want to let him in because I don't think I can take that risk with the community.
Officers are concerned Guido will take the news badly, so they have called the police to be on standby.
Okay. Now, Guido, I have discussed it with my boss in detail. I've certainly taken into consideration what you said about your job. We have made a decision. We are going to cancel your visa.
This job, my life.
I understand.
Australia macht my job plus no.
Now, what will happen is you'll probably get you on a flight in about 2 hours.
Ja, wann?
Okay.
Ich habe keine Lust, hier umsonst eingesperrt zu sein für etwas, was ich nicht getan habe. Und ich fühle mich gerade eingesperrt.
Sie werden hier nicht eingesperrt.
Ja, sicher bin ich hier eingesperrt. Ich bin hier in einem Raum, wo ich die Tür nicht öffnen kann. Also bin ich eingesperrt.
Unfortunately, because your visa has been cancelled, we do have to keep you here until we put you back on a plane.
Guido was refused immigration clearance and put on a return flight to Germany later that day. Today at Brisbane International Airport, a dog has found something worth investigating.
Okay, I was just working the flight that's coming from Los Angeles, and my dog's reacted to a male from that flight. It was a very strong reaction. The dog gave a positive independent sit on the gentleman. He alerted from a few metres away and then tracked it into that guy from the flight. He gave a very strong reaction, and I gave him a reward for that reaction because it was so strong. So we would assume that there's a possibility he may have some drugs on it. So what I'll do now is just hand it over to the customs officer to do a further search on him and see what comes up.
Alright, so one of the reasons why I'm doing this examination is the fact that he had a good reaction from one of our dog units. So the dog's actually gone through a large number of people to get to you. Just wondering, can you explain that to me why?
Oh, I thought it was because of my dogs. I have a lot of dogs off that.
You have a lot of dogs? Yeah. Okay, well, this sort of reaction is not the sort of reaction you get from someone who's been around dogs. You also get it because there's a possibility of narcotics. Okay, is there any possibility that you're using it beforehand, using it at all, or were you carrying anything on you?
No, I'm not trying to use right now. I'm on vacation on my pocket.
I understand that. But you understand why I'm asking questions? Okay. So there's no reason why the dog should just go through 300 odd people and basically pick you out like a lineup?
I didn't know it was doing that. I didn't know it was doing that. I didn't know it did that, but yeah, I don't know. What can I say?
In Brisbane immigration, a Singaporean passenger is being interviewed after customs officers found professional cooking implements in his bags. So now Officer Abdi needs to determine if he's a genuine tourist.
Why have you come to Australia?
You blaze a trail for your people, through the shadows of change, into new possibilities. You don't leave anyone behind. You empower their land, investing in the next generation, and when they grow, your business thrives. UDILY, the power of possibilities.
Have you ever been to Australia before? How long do you intend to have a holiday in Australia? So do you have any idea of which places to visit and where to ski in Australia? So who is his friend? What's Vivian's job in Australia?
Officer Abdi thinks the passenger's Australian contact may have more information about his reasons for coming here. At Sydney's International Mail Centre, an officer and another drug detector dog are inspecting various packages. If the dog sits in front of an item, it's a good indication that there has been some contact with narcotics. This is exactly the reaction he was looking for. The parcel is handed over to Officer Kane, who will x-ray the item, looking for inconsistencies that could indicate a drug concealment.
I look at the x-ray and there doesn't seem to be anything too unique about it. It just kind of looks like a poster. But the dog's had a really strong reaction to it, so I've had it over to my Australia Post. Just looks like just a roll of plastic. A bit of a lamination or a laminate machine, possibly a roll. It's not going to do a business, is it?
No.
What do you think? That's how you kind of expect it to feel.
Yeah. You like it.
It seems to pretty consistent with what I expect. Can't see any real indication that there's anything untoward.
The small 2-metre roll of plastic has Officer Kane puzzled as to why the drug detector dog reacted to it. So, if narcotics are present, they are well concealed.
So, when you're travelling, did you go straight from the States to here, or did you go like that?
An American couple has travelled to Australia for their anniversary, but a drug detector dog has reacted strongly to the male passenger. Officers are taking no chances, examining all their belongings to find why the dog has reacted.
That's fine.
They've also taken swabs to test for the presence of narcotics.
Ding.
That test I did before tests for a lot of things. It also tests for not only residue of explosives, stuff like that, also tests for narcotics and drugs and that. Now it's come up positive with cocaine, because it was on your wallet. Have you used previously before, or is this something that's new to you? Like, can you explain why I'd find your reading on it?
I don't know, maybe it came in contact or a thing, or it get out and everything else, but yeah, I mean, I know for a fact.
Right. Yeah. It was actually, I tested several things like purse, PDA, that sort of thing.
No, I have no idea.
You have no idea? Because it was on your wallet. That's why I'm asking. You know,
Oh, yeah.
A wallet's a fairly personal item. We don't usually generally give that out to someone.
Maybe when I go clubbing and I give them my ID or something, I have no idea.
Cool.
Forget that.
The dog handler trusts his dog's strong reaction, so he's still concerned the passenger has been in contact with narcotics.
Well, wait a minute. I mean, you have to make sure you're not carrying that into the country, you understand that? Yes, sir. I fully understand that. I appreciate that, and I respect that, and everything else like that. And you're the only one that the dog's picked out of hundreds of people out of that. What do you think that looks like to us? I'm sure you can guess. Meanwhile, officers are searching for answers as to why a drug dog reacted to this package containing a roll of plastic.
Is there anything else in it?
No, there's nothing else.
So, if there's nothing concealed inside the cylinder packaging, it's back to the plastic itself.
I'm struggling to make sense of it. It seems to be almost an industrial type object. I'm just leaning towards saying think about impregnation within this material. So we'll try and do some testing on this and see what we can find. I've seen intelligence reports on similar concealment methods, but we've never actually seen it. So if there is cocaine in there, it will be very interesting to see. I might just cut a small slice off the inside of the nick test.
This simple test could reveal the emergence of a new trend in international drug trafficking methods.
Oh.
A Singaporean chef on a tourist visa has immigration officers concerned that he might be here to work.
So you're a chef yourself. So you work in a restaurant or in a bakery, or so are you currently employed in that bakery? No more. So you left your job in Singapore. When Australian customs officers searched your bag, they found a tool, a baking tool. Can you tell me what was that for? Why did you bring that tool to Australia?
Oh, no, the one is Vivian only buy the go for the sauna.
Yeah. So Vivian asked you to bring that to her. She called you?
Yeah,
and then she asked you to bring that to her.
He's here for 1 month, but the passenger has no itinerary, very little money, no credit cards, and no good reason to return to Singapore. Now Officer Abdi will need to find the passenger's friend to verify his story.
Basically, what I want to ask you is, we're coming here to meet a friend?
Yes.
And did you ask him to bring any gifts to you?
Any gift? Yes.
What did you ask him to bring?
I asked him to buy me some pastry books.
Pastry books?
Yes.
Anything else?
And wine.
So, do you understand that providing misleading information? Misleading information to our immigration officer is an offense?
Yes.
What you told me and what he told me are not the same. So I want you to tell me now the truth of the reasons of why your friend is coming to Australia.
Well, dogs come to you for a reason, and sell you for a reason. And that's because it's a drug dog.
There's been a positive drug dog reaction in Brisbane, and customs officers want to know why.
Drugs on you? No. Cannabis? No. You smoke cannabis? Yeah, I smoke cannabis. When was the last time you smoked cannabis? 14 hours ago, I'd say? Well, as well as, obviously, I'm still getting your clothes then, but as well as having smoked it. I can't say, these dogs are very well trained. I'm not saying they're not. They're best friends. My goodness, I'm pretty sure. He's obviously done his job pretty good today, I think. And I think you've done a good job too. He's a nice, friendly dog. I don't know where to go from. Well, I'll just hand over to my supervisor and see where we go, just so we can be sure we're not carrying anything to the country, okay?
How you going? So I'm the supervisor here. You've got a pretty hard situation here. Understandably, the dog's reacted to you. Okay. I want you to be completely honest with me now. In that time, did you have any narcotics on your body?
Okay. Honestly, what happened was, came in, everything else like that. I seen the other dogs out there in the hallway, everything else like that. Went right by them, no problem. Went into the line, and then the dog came. Okay, so the dog like, oh, all right, no big deal. Right? Came again. Oh, wow. Wait a minute. Maybe I should go wash up. Everything else like that.
Is that because you had a fear that?
I don't want to get in trouble, sir.
No, but why did you wash up?
Because I knew I needed to. Right. Yeah, and they're trying to tell her and everything else like that. What am I going to do? I just don't want to get in trouble, sir.
Immigration has concerns about this passenger's intentions during his stay in Australia. The officer is now confirming his story with a friend who's been waiting in the arrivals hall.
So tell me exactly if he has an intention, if he has a desire to come to Australia and get a job. I know he's a chef. Does he wish, or did you discuss with him that he will come here as well? I want you to tell me the truth.
He called me that he said he wants to come here versus visit me. He said that's okay, and then come here to visit me and see whether there is a good opportunity or whatever.
So, you have discussed it with him that he will come here to visit first, and then look for an opportunity for work, whether it's in the future or at the present.
This is what he told me.
That's what he told you.
This is enough for Officer Abdi to go back to the passenger and confront him with this conflicting information.
I spoke to Vivian, and Vivian told me that you called her and asked her that you want to come into Australia to visit first, and then see if there is any opportunity for work. Is that correct?
I just say that if there's an opportunity to work, then I will apply for permission to come here to work.
So if there is an opportunity for work in a bakery, you will apply.
No, I need to know the pay first before I can decide what to do.
Do you have anything more to tell me?
No.
Officer Abdi will now give the passenger a notice of intention to cancel his
All that
visa.
information, I'm not satisfied that you are a genuine visitor. So you are invited now to provide your comments at interview.
With few funds and no job back in Singapore, and an admission that he was going to look for work, the passenger will now have to come up with a good reason to convince Officer Abdi, or he will be sent home on the next available flight. At the International Mail Centre, Customs suspect that they may have an extraordinary new method of concealing drugs within plastic.
It's a negative result on that.
Got a ticket off? Relieve dry cough the natural way with soothing marshmallow root extracts.
Do an ionoizer scan on it. Get a swab and see if it gets any reaction. There we go, cocaine. Strength of 2.79, so that's a good result.
This is one of the first times this type of concealment, devised in the laboratories of South America, has been seen.
It's amazingly well concealed, very hard to tell when we have a powder that we found inside something, it's there, and you can see it with this. It's a very sophisticated method of concealment, and quite a surprise to get the positive result.
And then, just days later, officers have made a further discovery. Officer Kerry is briefing her supervisor.
We did checks on this name, and we also did checks on this address. It is exactly the same name and exactly the same address as the rolls of plastic that contain cocaine.
They're just blank pages.
It just looks
and
like
if you were to flick through the photo album, there is no way you would pick it up and say that actually contains drugs.
The plastic film was referred to the Australian Federal Police. It was found to contain 25 grams of cocaine. The 2 photo albums were also referred to the AFP. Investigations into both inputs are continuing.
We're going to give you a chance now. Basically, if you have anything either on your body or in your bag, let us know now. Do you have anything?
No. I haven't got anything on me.
Like you said before, obviously you used cannabis use. Okay. And what was the result of that? Ticket? What we'd like to do, we'd like to conduct a frisk search, which is basically just pat down the outside clothes, okay? This basically is the information card. I just need you to read this, and this will explain the process in a little bit more detail. You read it in full and understand. So do you consent to the search?
Oh, yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, I consent.
Alright. This officer here will be conducting the search.
So just let me know if you want me to stop, okay?
With a drug detector dog reacting so strongly to this passenger, could this frisk search reveal what officers are looking for? This Singaporean passenger has just been given the opportunity to convince Officer Abdi as to why his visa should not be cancelled.
But I didn't commit any crime. Why cancel my visa? I have no idea why.
We know he did not violate Australian laws yet, but he has an intention to violate Australian laws. And that's why we're considering to cancel his visa before he violates the laws of Australia. I consider that there are grounds for visa cancellation, as I'm satisfied that you did not have at the time of the grant of the visa, or cease to have an intention only to visit Australia temporarily for tourism purposes. Therefore, your visa has been cancelled. As you are no longer the holder of a visa, you have been refused immigration clearance and will be removed from Australia as an unlawful non-citizen.
Customs are searching a man who admitted to using marijuana right before boarding his flight. They want to be sure he's not carrying any across the border.
Can you understand why we have our concerns today?
I don't know, I just want to see your country, you know what I mean? Not bad.
It looks highly suspect for us when you come through. A trained detective dog reacts to you.
Anything else, Ross? Alright, so I've actually finished looking into the habits, and you guys are right to go. Get your passports back.
This husband and wife can now begin to celebrate their anniversary. Now officers are satisfied they're not carrying any narcotics.
Well, the thing is when they open everything up, I guess I use this when we just came back from Vegas. Then when they open everything up, everything's like Vegas this, Vegas that, and then he's asking me, well, how did this happen? I'm like, it's Vegas.
End of the day, we've got to do our job, and we can only do that job by, looking through his bag and assessing him. And in this case, we assessed that risk and thought he's not bringing anything in, so departed.
Well, I'm here to see the surf and stay out of trouble now.
Instant downloading is essential, and it's only made possible by data centers like ours. Goodman, essential infrastructure for the digital economy.
Today, this nervous American has arrived in Sydney off a flight from Los Angeles, and he's only carrying 2 small pieces of hand luggage.
He's here for a 2-day business trip, but he's ridiculously nervous. He's saying he just hasn't slept for 24 hours, and when he does that, he
gets very nervous, but it could be more to it, I believe.
So I left my house at 3 o'clock Monday. Flying sunset.
So only 24 hours you haven't slept for and you're like this?
Yeah, I mean, I probably got off for like a half hour on the flight, but that's like it.
Officers are not convinced that fatigue but is that he should stop 3 men arriving on tourist visas from Taiwan. They presented separately at the prime. A secondary examination is carried out on the bag, as suspicions grow that he may be up to something.
Obviously the passengers displaying pretty nervous signs there, sweating profusely. Yeah, we're not overly happy with him at this point.
We're going to need to look in these bags. I want you not to touch them, sir. Just wait there for the moment.
Biosecurity officers have stopped a man arriving in a group from India after x-rays showed his suitcase contains undeclared organic material.
There is a substantive amount of foods in there. They are non-declarants, so we're just going to see what they've got.
An incoming passenger card is a legal document that must be answered truthfully.
So I'm going to need to ask you, is this your name and your signature? Yeah. And did you fill this card out yourself? Yeah. Did you read all of these questions? Yeah. And did you understand the questions? Okay, so you didn't fill this out. Yeah. Where's your wife now? India. Is she travelling with you? Yeah, where is she? She went away. Okay. All right. So who packed these bags, sir? Yeah, also. You packed the bags, so you know what is inside the bags? And the bags and the contents belong to you? Okay. Well, we're going to have a look inside here today, as well as this bag here, okay? Right?
Supervising Officer Andrea searches the man's bag and soon discovers exactly what it is that he should declare.
We have oranges, apples. Can you read? Home foods. Where does it say that, sir, on the card?
They told that home foods should not be there. Very good.
It says meat, poultry, fish, seafood, eggs, dairy, fruit, vegetables. This is fruit.
Yeah.
Yeah, fruit. No, it doesn't say homemade food. It just tells you these categories. And even if you had home food, so it clearly says up here, you must answer every question. If you're not sure, you mark yes.
Fruit can carry many diseases which could threaten Australia's fragile ecosystem, and this passenger could be facing a hefty fine.
If you're unsure or you couldn't see or whatever your excuse is, this is inexcusable.
Brisbane Airport, immigration has stopped 3 men arriving on tourist visas from Taiwan. They presented separately at the primary line, but officers believe they may be connected.
So we've just had 3 Taiwanese males come through the line, all separately. When we've taken them back to the desk, they've sort of congregated back together, which has sparked our initial curiosity. We've asked them a few questions about their trip, which haven't quite added up, and now we're referring them on for a bag search and seeing what happens there.
Customs and Border Protection search and x-ray the luggage of all 3 passengers. The only item of interest is a USB stick discovered in the bag of this man, Mr. Peng. It contains documents in Mandarin that immigration will need to take a closer look at.
We suspect that the files located in the USB will actually provide us with a clear indication of what Mr. Peng used to diary in Australia.
The documents on the USB are taken to be translated, and the 3 passengers will be interviewed, as already there are doubts about their story.
One of the things that's hard to bring them together is they had their cards filled out in the same way, and they were all staying at the same hotel on the Gold Coast. When we rung up the hotel to confirm their booking, we found that there is no booking for them.
Using an interpreter, immigration officers will question the passengers to establish why they are here and how they know each other.
So,
In another interview room, Mr. Peng offers a different explanation.
You claim to have met them when you were growing up, and you meet with them on a regular basis in Taiwan. That's it. Yeah.
One man is saying we've known each other since we were kids in the same town in Taiwan, whereas another gentleman is saying we know each other because we work at the same company. Can't name the company that they work for, but they all work together. So that sort of difference is a major difference. You don't get that wrong.
Suspicions are growing that the men may be here for something much more sinister than a holiday, as they claim. So, when one of the passengers indicates that there was a fourth man on the flight with them, Officer Raylene heads out to the arrivals hall to try and locate him. And she makes an unexpected discovery. In Sydney, Customs and Border Protection is searching the hand luggage of this nervous American for any possible concealments. While nothing is found, there are still concerns that he may be trying to smuggle narcotics, and that he could have abandoned other luggage.
You haven't got any check-in bags at all?
Drug couriers have been known to panic and dump their contraband when under pressure, so officers need to eliminate this possibility.
So we're going to check the bag.
Whether you have all these bags, we're also going to
While they search for any other bags, a specialist team will make one other check.
What we're going to do now is board the aircraft, check where the gentleman was seated, see if he hasn't dumped anything there or anything in the toilets on the aircraft.
But when asked where he was sitting, the passenger goes blank. And now he can't find his boarding pass. Finally, he produces it. But what he doesn't realize is that a search of the plane is already underway.
We have oranges, apples.
Biosecurity officers have discovered high-risk fruit in the baggage of this non-declarant passenger traveling from India.
This is inexcusable.
He could be facing a hefty fine, but he's blaming his wife, who has already exited, for filling out his passenger card incorrectly. And now it's the airline's fault.
The flight do. They do announce it. No, it doesn't say one.
At the Delhi airport, they should take it.
Well, it's your responsibility, sir. This is a legal document. You'll sign this. What's in this one, sir? This is home cooked food. So you're telling about home cooked food and you still didn't declare it. And this is home cooked food. So this is like a form of popcorn?
Now we get ready-made from market.
From the market. Is the nuts? Cooked nuts?
Even though undeclared food continues to be found in his bag, he's still blaming his wife.
But this gentleman's wife has already exited with some baggage. Because we found the items we had found, I just want to make sure that she's not carrying anything in their cabin baggage.
While the passenger's wife will need to be located outside in the terminal, he's still refusing to take any responsibility.
Trust who?
Ladies.
Ladies.
She filled the form.
It doesn't matter, sir. Wait, sir, I'm sorry, but you're in.
Respect, I have to complete it.
Yeah.
But she has filled, she's a doctor.
Yeah, but
for filling, she should know. I have the glasses. No?
But sir, is this your signature?
She's my wife.
She's
my wife.
Okay, but sir, going back to this is your signature. You should.
I have to present the paper here.
Yeah, okay, that's great.
The country has invited me for presenting the paper here.
That's good, sir. Again, sir, you should have read over what your wife had done. You're responsible. You know? Not your wife. You signed it.
Cabin baggage, they are not there. Cabin baggage.
It doesn't matter if it's in cabin baggage or in hold baggage, so it's still with you.
16F. We've already 17 around here.
There are concerns this extremely nervous American may have dumped narcotics on board the aircraft he just arrived on from Los Angeles.
What we're going to do now is board the aircraft, check where the gentleman was seated, see if he hasn't dumped anything there or anything in the toilets on the aircraft.
In the meantime, officers also want to check that he has nothing illicit concealed on his body.
In light of the fact that you're obviously displaying nervous signs, we're going to detain you for the purpose of a frisk search. So it's a male officer, pat down the outside of your clothes. What I need to do is read both sides of this card. So, male officer here will do the search. Presence officer here. Arms up on me.
Immigration is speaking to 3 Taiwanese men who are claiming they are simply here for a holiday.
You said that you've got 7 days in Australia. Can you tell me what you're going to do day by day?
But with their stories not quite adding up, alarm bells start ringing when one of them reveals they were not travelling alone. Officer Raylene heads out to the arrivals hall to find a possible 4th member of the group.
So I've gone out to the arrivals hall and I found 2 gentlemen who looked to be from Taiwan.
One of the 2 men, who is carrying a valid visa, says he is there to pick up all the passengers. The other man turns out to be the person immigration is looking for. He confirms that he is travelling with the group. But for some reason, Officer Stella's passenger is denying this fact.
There's a gentleman outside, a Taiwanese passport holder, who says that he travelled with you today. Saying that you travelled with 3 people today, and we walked outside, and there's a gentleman there saying that he travelled with you, and he knows your name. So why would you lie about that? I want you to tell me the truth.
While this nervous American is being frisked, Customs and Border Protection is also searching the aircraft he arrived on for any drugs that may have been dumped on board. The frisk is negative, but the investigation is not over, as there is still a possibility that he may be carrying narcotics internally.
You ate on the flight too, or I didn't eat very much at all. I didn't drink hardly any water, and I probably shouldn't have alcohol on the flight, so they could just really dehydrate and tired.
But Officer Nick has his doubts.
He stated he hasn't eaten much at all on the plane. He said he had a couple of alcoholic drinks, and that's all he's had. So there's another indicator there to suggest that by not eating anything, he's trying to keep whatever's inside him still in him. So you haven't swallowed anything today that you shouldn't have? No. Not meeting anyone here, delivering anything? No. We've got a body scan machine here, takes an x-ray of you internally. Do you have any problem with us doing that? Nothing to hide.
Case is discussed with Customs and Border Protection supervisors.
We're going to bring your body scan now. You're sweating so much, but you've got to jump out of the shower. But he's that nervous that you pretty much have to.
Did you fill the form?
While officers are trying to locate the wife of this doctor, he is continuing to blame her for not declaring a number of food items on his incoming passenger card.
Again, sir, you should have read over what your wife had done. You're responsible. You know, you will be issued today an infringement notice of $340. because you failed to declare on the card, sir. Okay, and that's the law. Okay.
If I'm aware of this.
But sir, this is a document in front of you. It clearly says if you're not sure, you must say yes. Okay? You are responsible for what you bring into the country, sir.
The maximum $340 fine is issued, and as the man's wife approaches, he is not happy.
You did not read here, rooms are not allowed. It's not cabin, this one.
No, I didn't know what was inside the suitcase.
While his wife's carry-on baggage will be checked for any prohibited items, he is far from happy about the situation.
Doctor, and your country has invited me for presenting a paper on in vitro infertilization. I'm a renowned doctor from India. I presented papers in UK, Europe countries, and Australia and USA, Turkey. This is the first time they have been insulted here at the customs, and I'm very unhappy with this.
The carry-on luggage gets the all clear, but he still needs to pay the fine.
I just need you to sign this, and then we can make the payment, and you can be on your way. Yeah.
Yeah. Voila.
Freight will be destroyed, and biosecurity officers give the passengers information on what to declare next time they fly.
And hopefully this won't deter you to stay in Australia.
Very bad.
As a gentleman there saying that he travelled with you. He knows all of you, he knows your names. Why would you lie about that?
In Brisbane, this Taiwanese man is adamant that he's only travelling with 2 other men. But immigration believes they have located a 4th member of the group who has made it through to the arrivals area.
He has admitted to me that he travelled with the 3 other passengers that we are currently interviewing. We're going to actually want to speak to this gentleman now ourselves.
The man is taken to be interviewed further, while officers try to make sense of all the conflicting information. And they may finally have a breakthrough.
Pablo's managed to find a USB that contains some information, which is a script.
And the translated script finally reveals what these men's true intentions are.
There's something not right here with these guys. It's a scam.
This American is being escorted to determine if he is carrying any drugs internally.
So we've just taken him into a body scanning room, doing a non-medical internal examination. Basically, with his extreme nervous behaviour, and he's only here for a 2-day trip, we're going to see if he's got anything inside.
While this is conducted, officers are returning from a thorough search of the plane for any narcotics.
We check the aircraft and there's negatives for anything left behind in the toilets or around the gentleman's seat.
The body scan image has also been assessed.
I've just got the results back from the body scan. It's come back negative. So it appears today the gentleman was just an extremely nervous flyer.
So he is now free to go.
That's all right. We just need to go through a certain procedure. So we're not concerned that he's carrying anything today, so the gentleman's right to leave.
I've gotten for like 20 hours of flying, didn't sleep, had a cocktail or 2, so I was, tired, groggy, and so they're just doing their job. They're professional the entire time. So it's all you can ask for.
Immigration has just discovered evidence that suggests this group of Taiwanese men may have come to Australia to engage in illegal activities.
Pablo's managed to find a USB that contains some information, which is a script for someone that's going to call up a member of the public and try and gain their credit card information from them by telling them, hey, your credit card's lost. How about you give me your credit card details now so I can investigate the matter further? It's a scam, so they can sort of grift money out of their credit cards.
There is now sufficient grounds to consider cancelling their visas. But first, the men are given a chance to respond.
My intention of coming to Australia is for audit. I'm a genuine tourist. So my visa is so high for unemployment. I don't know why. It should be like, sometimes I'm
Mr. Chang decides to throw in the towel.
If you want to cancel the visa, just cancel it. Do not do things like this. It's going to be like a whole day. I'm really getting tired. If you want to cancel the visa, cancel it.
Taking their responses and all the evidence into consideration, immigration has made a decision.
And I weighed up the evidence available before me and have found that there are sufficient grounds to cancel your visa.
You have been refused immigration clearance and will be removed from Australia as an unlawful non-citizen.
The visas of all 4 passengers are now cancelled.
In terms of risk, today was a good day for immigration. We had 4 guys that were coming in that we believe had an intent to scam innocent people from their credit card details and potentially a lot of money. So this was a good get for us.
It's 5:30 a.m. in Adelaide, and officers are about to act on intelligence regarding the location of a Chinese national who has escaped from immigration detention.
He was held at the Adelaide Immigration Transit Accommodation for 2 days before he absconded and has been unlawfully in Australia since that time.
Knowing their person of interest could try to run again, a large team of officers cautiously approach the property.
Just confirming, he always comes on side, boss.
With the man's car parked out the front, all exits at the side and rear of the house are covered. Officers want to be sure that if he is inside, he won't get away a second time.
Hello, it's immigration. Can you open the door, please?
Suddenly, someone inside attempts to open a front window. And now they are making their way quickly through the house to try and flee out the back door. At Sydney Airport, this Mongolian woman has been stopped by biosecurity officers after an X-ray revealed she may be carrying undeclared organic material in her luggage. But a search of her suitcase leads to an unexpected discovery.
It's not orange juice.
The passenger is carrying a juice container that clearly does not contain any liquid.
Why put it in there?
The box has been glued shut and is full of medicine.
Alright, 1 second.
Undeclared medication is a customs and border protection issue, and Officer Jacqueline is called to question the passenger.
It's your medicine. Yeah, why is it in here? Why did you put it in here? Your medicine, or are you carrying it for somebody else? Your medicine. Okay. How come you didn't declare question number 1? I asked you whether you've got medicine in there. You answered no.
Officer Jacqueline needs to find out why this Australian resident went to so much trouble concealing medication. A swab test will reveal if there are any traces of illegal substances on the container. In Melbourne, Customs and Border Protection officers have stopped this woman and her 2 male travelling companions who are returning home from a trip to Cambodia.
Well, basically, it's her first time out of Australia, so we just wanted to see what she was doing, why she went to Cambodia, why that's the place that she selected. Her friend owns a hotel over there, he's getting it up and running at the moment, so the accommodation, everything was provided.
All 3 passengers have not declared anything on their incoming passenger cards, but their luggage will be checked for any prohibited items.
Are these just some DVDs?
So do you guys know each other?
They're old friends. We originally met at the pub when I was working. And he's a footy trainer of my cousins.
During the bag search of the woman's belongings, something that seems fairly innocent has caught Supervising Officer Steve's attention. The packaging states that it's just a torch. But it seems looks can be very deceiving.
That's a taser, isn't it? Yeah. Can't bring stuff like that back. That's not a torch, that's a taser. I'll kill myself with it.
She's brought a concealed weapon across the border.
Okay, I must caution you, you do not have to say or do anything, but anything you do say or do may be used in evidence. Do you understand that?
And officers soon discover it's not the only dangerous concealment.
Supervisor, we've got a search warrant. Can you open the front door, please?
In Adelaide, a compliance team has surrounded this house where they suspect a Chinese national who previously escaped from immigration detention may be hiding.
The attendants come out the back door, so just be careful.
With no way of escape, the door finally opens.
This one, after 1.5 years, 1.5 years, 1.5 years, settled already. Now still in contact. Some people. Silva better or active already. Every time we do this one.
And you've declared that you aren't carrying any medicine in this bush?
Well, friends, we originally met at the pub when I was working. And he's a footy trainer of my cousins.
During the bag search of the woman's belongings, something that seems fairly innocent has caught Supervising Officer Steve's attention. The packaging states that it's just a torch. But it seems looks can be very deceiving.
That's a taser, isn't it? Yeah. Can't bring stuff like that back. That's not a torch, that's a taser. I'll kill myself with it.
She's brought a concealed weapon across the border.
Okay, I must caution you, you do not have to say or do anything, but anything you do say or do may be used in evidence. Do you understand that?
And officers soon discover it's not the only dangerous concealment.
Immigration, we've got a search warrant. Can you open the front door, please?
In Adelaide, a compliance team has surrounded this house where they suspect a Chinese national who previously escaped from immigration detention may be hiding.
He attempted to come out the back door, so just be careful.
With no way of escape, the door finally opens.
喂，我當初你都俾佢跑咧，我撚嘢。
Today, this nervous American has arrived in Sydney off a flight from Los Angeles.
The male officer pat down the outside.
It's 5:30 a.m. in Adelaide, and officers are about to act on intelligence regarding the location of a Chinese national who has escaped from immigration detention.
He was held at the...
Alright, 1 second.
Kept under close watch as an interview is conducted using a Mandarin interpreter.
Do you have a visa to be in Australia currently? And have you ever had any dealings with immigration in the past? Yeah. What were those dealings?
I have no visa, so I was detained.
Looks like immigration has their man.
Back door, so just be careful.
With no way of escape, the door finally opens.
Good morning, mates. Immigration, we've got a search warrant, okay? Can you step inside? My officers are going to come in and conduct a search, okay? Just move to the side, thank you. And you go, guys.
The house is thoroughly searched.
Just leave your shoes for now, mate, and go sit down there, all right?
5 adults and 1 child are located. Immigration checks each person's identification and visa status.
There's nothing else on that. Move on to the next one.
They all check out, except for this man who matches the description of the SKP immigration is searching for. Suspecting it is him, officers are not taking any chances.
Just a second, you're not going anywhere, okay? There's 8 officers here, mate, you're not going anywhere. So if you try to run again, it's not going to go well, okay? So take a seat there and behave for us, all right?
He will be kept under close watch as an interview is conducted using a Mandarin interpreter.
Then do you have a visa to be in Australia currently? Have you ever had any dealings with immigration in the past? Yeah. What were those dealings?
I have no visa, so I was detained.
Looks like immigration has their man, but there is now one other serious concern.
Where did you obtain his passport? Is this document fake?
It's not orange juice.
In Sydney, biosecurity officers have discovered a large amount of undeclared medication concealed in a juice container in this Mongolian woman's luggage. Customs and Border Protection have been called over to investigate further.
Test it for traces of explosives and drugs.
Swab test gives a positive result for ephedrine, a prohibited substance. But there may be an innocent explanation.
We could be getting the reading of ephedrine because it's cold and flu medicine, and pseudoephedrine is present in cold and flu medicine.
In larger amounts, pseudoephedrine can also be used to manufacture methamphetamines. So the woman is taken to a Customs and Border Protection area so her remaining bags can be checked for any other possible concealments.
Medicine in here?
And yet another concealed box is discovered. Even though the boxes do appear to contain biscuits, as the woman claims, officers are still suspicious.
It looks unusual that she's packed it inside of a juice container and she's gone to some lengths to try and conceal it.
And they're not taking any chances.
Sometimes we find ephedrine present in foodstuffs. It's been a common trend through the airport, so we're just going to conduct the eye scan test on it.
That all looks good to me.
Yeah, no problem.
The search is complete, and even though her packing methods may be unusual, officers are now certain the woman is not concealing anything illegal.
No problem, no need to cry.
And she has learned a very valuable lesson.
These are medicines, okay? So you need to declare yes to this question. Yes. Okay, no problem.
In Melbourne, this woman and her 2 male travelling companions returning from Cambodia have been taken aside for a bag search.
So how long were you over there for? 2 days.
But while inspecting an item from the woman's bag, Supervising Officer Steve almost got the shock of his life. It appears to be a simple torch.
That's a taser. I would kill myself with it.
A taser is an electric shock device and is a prohibited import into Australia.
Do you know what it was that you were buying?
Just another torch. I was going along the beach so we needed something.
Yeah.
But then I didn't even end up opening it and using it to randomise with the fish.
Yeah. Where did you buy it from?
None of the markets.
Okay. Did they not tell you when you bought it, what it does, or what is it?
No, I don't understand myself.
Okay. How much did it cost?
I think it's 15.
But that's not the end of it. As officers continue searching the bags of one of the men she is with, another prohibited import is discovered.
We've just located a slingshot in the passenger's bag. That's a prohibited import because it has a brace on it, which then turns it into a fairly significant weapon. The passenger, he made the declaration that he was going to use it as a bait, to cast bait down into the bay. We don't think that's what it's going to be used for.
Officers now need to make sure this keen fisherman is not concealing any other prohibited items.
Passengers told us that he has no other further, items in his bag. We'll have a look. We'll determine whether he's got anything in there.
And it appears that he has not been telling the truth, as officers have found a more sinister concealment.
I don't know if this will be allowed either.
By the way, the private farm is so successful because it's so huge. Really? Never happened. Think about it. If you're a hacker and you manage to have somehow access there, there is a lot of things you can do.
You're going to be shocked, but phishing campaigns are very successful with child attacks.
You're afraid of breach. Log down Amazon.com and really everything down.
We have
Right, so we're back. This is Dan Burke, your host from IT Security Defender, and I
This man, who has escaped from immigration detention, is now back in custody. And officers have serious concerns that he is using a false passport.
Initial analysis of that passport has led us to identify that passport as a fake passport. There's an arrival stamp for when this person claims to have arrived in 2013. We know that's impossible, as he has been unlawfully in Australia since 2011 when he escaped from immigration detention.
Where did you obtain this passport? Is this document fake? Did you apply for this visa and get granted this visa? And get this label? Did immigration put that in there? Or somebody else? Be honest. Just be honest. It's fake. Okay.
With this admission, Mr. Lee will now be transported to Immigration Head Office.
Have everything now.
His passport will be forensically examined, and he will be questioned about who is providing false documents to Chinese nationals. During the search of the luggage of these 3 Australians who have returned from Cambodia, Customs and Border Protection discovered a high-powered slingshot and an electronic taser disguised as a torch. But these aren't the only things they have brought in that are prohibited.
What's that? Is that a bat? That's an extendable bat. Fishing? Yeah. No, well, because of, none of this stuff. All right. Because we've got that and we've got this, we're going to have to go through a process now. She's actually going to have to read your caution and rights, only because they are prohibited imports.
Right, you do not have to say or do anything, but anything you do say or do may be used in evidence. Do you understand that?
The rest of the bags belonging to these 2 are given the all clear, but their other companion has also been caught with an extendable baton.
That's what we class as a weapon. You got hit with that, it'd do quite a bit of damage, I believe.
He also offers the same explanation as his mate, that it is to be used for fishing.
Now we're going to bring it back to not carp on the head with, like the finished carp on.
But the 3 offenders are not off the hook yet.
Today we will be issuing 3 infringement notices, 1 for each year. The fine is for $340.
Many people try to deny that certain items they are bringing in are to be used as weapons. And Officer Steve thought he heard every excuse until now.
That's nowhere near a fishing tool. I don't think I'd take one of these in my tackle box.
At the Sydney Container Examination Facility, Customs and Border Protection have taken aside this crate that has arrived via sea cargo from Thailand. The manifest declares that it contains a hot water heater, but Officer Sue already has concerns about its X-ray image.
Certainly doesn't look like how I would expect a hot water heater to look. Because normally you have a heating element and a big
tank.
It's a tank which should be empty.
But yeah, this is even better because it looks like we've got the swirly pattern that's often consistent with powders and big cracks and lumps of powders and powders often do funny things like that. I was certainly not prepared to release this package without further examination.
It appears that this could be a sizable concealment of narcotics, so the water tank is unpacked for a thorough examination.
The X-ray image also indicated there's something fairly solid in there, so we're going to have to try and get in there and have a look at what's in this compartment. Yeah, that's just on a stand, and it's a really solid bottom there. So we'll try that last. I'm just going to try this water outlet, see if we can get that off. Ah, bingo.
Immigration has located this man who they found living in the Adelaide suburbs. They are certain he is the same person who escaped with 3 others from immigration detention several years ago.
2 of those people have since been located again and departed. One of those is still in the community unlawful, and Mr. Lee has obviously been located today by us.
A document examiner confirms the passport is of a very bad quality and definitely fraudulent.
It has a number of different features in it than a genuine passport. So the way the paper feels, also the way it's joined together, like stitched together, how the cover's attached. There are some spelling mistakes, especially in Australian visa label. In my opinion, the whole thing is a counterfeit document. Even the cover is not the genuine Chinese passport cover.
So, did you bring that with you to Australia when you came, or have you obtained that since?
Immigration have a few more questions about the source of the false document.
Was that after you escaped from the detention centre?
Yes.
How did you get that?
Mr. Lee tells Officer Dan that his twin sister living in China organised the fake passport.
In my country, as long as you can provide photos, you can get a passport like this.
Mr. Lee is unwilling to provide any further information, but that has no bearing on immigration's decision to remove him from the country.
He'll be transferred interstate to a high-risk facility.
Lots of white powder in there. Look at this Ricardo, got all this white powder.
At Sydney's Container Examination Facility, Customs and Border Protection may have just uncovered a large concealment of narcotics being smuggled in this water heater from Thailand.
It was quite heavy when Ricardo and I lifted it out, and the X-ray image certainly showed density in that whole bottom section, so I think this whole bottom section from here to here is full of this powder. So I'll get one of my colleagues and we'll take a sample of that. We've got a machine called HAZMAT, which is very accurate for identifying what substances are, and we'll see if we can get a positive ID on what this powder is.
The HAZMAT uses infrared technology to analyse the chemical composition of substances, so officers can identify exactly what they are dealing with. Pseudoephedrine is a chemical precursor used by criminal syndicates to manufacture methamphetamines, such as ice.
They're now going to importing precursors and manufacturing in Australia because they can actually get more bulk by importing precursors than manufacturing lots of stuff here.
And investigations won't finish there. The tank will now be carefully prepared for a controlled delivery.
We're in the process of substituting the drugs that were found in the inside of this water pump with an inert substance, in this case plain flour. And then we'll have to reconstruct its original packaging. So the aim is to try and have the importer take delivery of this water pump consignment, and at that stage we move in and arrest.
Brisbane, Customs and Border Protection have taken aside this Australian couple returning from Fiji for a routine search.
Oh, so we're going to repay. Oh, already. Yeah, right.
What's up?
I've never seen you guys from
These are practice.
Yeah, that's too much.
How many times have you been stopped by customs?
We watch these clowns on TV too, so.
Yeah. Well, they don't show the whole story. They don't show it from back.
Officer Tom is finding a number of packets of medications that have not been declared.
A couple of different types of tablets. Yeah, okay.
The other ones that help you sleep.
What are they made from?
Some of the medication seems to be in someone else's name.
Hey, lo ves.
That's not my name.
Đố nó. Mới nó là mới khẳng định là tiếng nó là cái phản rồi. Mới khẳng nó là.那里也没弄，呀，私家客户没地方弄。
最近你不会加了动物啊？不会加了，不会加，我要赶生意啊！不要我那那边去了，不会加，我那私家客都做嘛，就做嘛。
私家客。呀，那没啦，注重意思啊，注重对嘛去咱们里边金融台没有。
今天好辣根呐！
辣根这个哪老嘞？今仔新营那边啦，新营那边。永基啊，澳门那边啊，咩咯，三花船务搞嘢啊，可能有開啊。你大家一個嗰邊咪都話啦，新營永基好似有開哦。
幾時咧？
私家客哦。即係那裡咩咯，機啊，那裡也有開哦。Iya, mesti oke juga lah lo, kayaknya lo sepi.
How's that? Stop it, seriously stop it, smoke.
Supervising Officer Chris is paying close attention to the woman's very nervous behaviour. Her agitation could be a sign that she is worried that something illegal will be found. In It's
Có chính những người mà trái
the
túi gì à?
outskirts of Gap, a country town west of Brisbane, and immigration are conducting a large-scale roadside operation, pulling over workers on their way to local farms.
So immigration are here today to speak to any non-citizens about their immigration status and determine if they've got the right to work in Australia.
Farming regions like this area have harvest seasons that attract many foreign workers.
When did you arrive? When did you first come to Australia?
Traditionally over the years we've found a lot of people who come to this region may not have the correct visa to work, but it's easy work to get and they often pay cash in hand, so it doesn't really matter about their visa status to the employers.
There are people from all over the world passing through the checkpoint, and most of them are cleared to leave. But there could be a problem with the people in this van who are on their way to work on a nearby farm.
India, November, Oxford.
All their passport numbers and details are checked by relaying them to the immigration main office.
My passport is Yankee Alpha.
But it turns out it's not the passengers who have a problem.
So we just conducted a status check of you and we understand that you hold a tourist visa with a no work condition.
Yeah, I guess take people to work.
You take people to work?
I know.
Are you paid to take people to work?
Yeah, I just
Yes,
have
you
my
are.
sister because she is
So under the Immigration Act, that's work is defined by us. So you're breaching your visa conditions this morning by driving people to work.
Feeling uncomfortable after eating, facing any of these 7 symptoms, swelling sensation in the chest, stomach discomfort, acid reflux, stomach bloating and burning, sour taste in the mouth, throat irritation. Take Gaviscon Double Action Liquid with natural skin. It relieves heartburn and indigestion in 3 minutes. Lasting up to 4 hours. Use Gaviscon Double Action.
At Sydney's International Mail Centre, Customs and Border Protection officers come across a wide range of prohibited items.
Basically, we are looking for all sorts of things ranging from weapons up to narcotics.
So far today, Officer Jake has already come across 2 suspicious packages sent from Malaysia, and now he thinks he may have a third.
I can see what appear to be possibly pens of some kind, and I'm not exactly sure what these round rolls are, but it seems to be...
Uniform.
Once taken to the testing room, Officer Jake selects one of the larger boxes to
Siapa mau nyo ni kung
that he is using a false passport.
initial analysis of that passport has led us to identify that passport as a fake passport. There's an arrival stamp for when this person claims to have arrived in 2013. We know that's impossible as he has been unlawfully in Australia since 2011 when he escaped from immigration detention.
Where did you obtain this passport? Is this document fake? Did you apply for this visa and get granted this visa? You get this label? Did immigration put that in there? Or somebody else? Be honest. Just be honest.
Fake.
It's fake.
With this admission, Mr. Lee will now be transported to Immigration Head Office. At the Sydney...
They're slow.
So officers can identify her agitation could be a sign that she is worried that something illegal will be found. It's 4 in the morning on the outskirts of
My passport here, Yankee Alpha.
but it turns out it's not the passengers who have a problem.
So we just conducted a status check of you and we understand that you hold a tourist visa with a no work condition.
Yeah, I guess take people to work.
You take people to work?
I know.
Are you paid to take people to work?
Yeah, I just
Yes,
have
you
my
are.
sister because she is a
So under the Immigration Act, that's work is defined by us. So you're breaching your visa conditions this morning by driving people to work.
At Sydney's International Mail Centre, Customs and Border Protection
Make a decision. So there we go. We've got the white powder in this case.
At an early morning roadside operation, immigration suspect they have caught this Indonesian man working illegally.
So you're breaching your visa conditions this morning by driving people to work.
It's likely he will need to be transferred to the local police station for further questioning.
So I'll be asking you to step out of the vehicle shortly, but at the moment if you just remain there, and then we'll have a chat about your tourist visa and why you're working on it.
But it seems that word of the situation has got out to the man's sister, who has just turned up, and she wants to know what's going on.
He's already told me this morning that he's been paid for what he's doing today.
Because today I'm not visible, that's why I need someone to drive him just today.
Immigration will need to determine if this is just a one-off or an ongoing arrangement. The man's sister, Mailya, is adamant that her brother has done nothing wrong.
They're only helping me driving just in the morning to drop the job. This is not working because I need someone help.
She actually owns and operates a business contracting workers out to the local farms.
70 people work for me and stay in my place because I got tested to work at the farm. I've been checking every year with stock. I never even one of my workers found out without visa.
But now officers need to detain her brother.
Okay, so we're going to get you to step out. Okay, so I'm going to grab onto this arm.
Mailya steps in when she sees that her brother is being detained.
What did you say? I want to carry that? Nobody can go ahead.
Excuse me, ma'am. Ma'am, you can step over there. Can you step away? Okay, you're not helping the situation. I'll come and have a chat to you later. If you'd like to speak to someone, I'm not here to argue with you. If you'd like to speak to my manager,
So many people in the other you can find it.
okay, let's go speak to my manager. Ma'am, go speak to my manager. She'll be happy to chat to you.
This is not fair. I'm not stupid.
Where will you find a university consistently ranked among the world's top 50 in location unsurpassed?
As Customs and Border Protection inspect this Australian woman's bags, she seems to be becoming increasingly nervous and agitated.
Stop there. Seriously, stop here. Sorry.
Already, a few packets of medication have been found that should have been declared.
Nothing wrong with carrying medication as long as it's prescribed to you.
But wait.
So prescription is a restriction. You can't just go buy that over the counter.
Okay, so it's not to be clear, and then when we ask what it is, you inform us that you have a prescription for it. That's all, please.
At a roadside operation, immigration officers are detaining this Indonesian man for further questioning about his visa status. And his sister is not happy.
Where's your manager? I'm not Phyllis. You can't judge him because you can't speak English and you press on them. It's not fair. He's still fun. You can't judge him.
He's the person that I need to talk to. I'll have an interpreter so
Yes.
he understands me.
Yes.
Okay? But I'm going to talk to him. He's the visa holder.
Maelia is insisting that Richard hasn't broken any immigration laws by driving workers to local farms for her employment contracting business.
It's not fair. No, you're charging people. You don't see it. Okay, driving happened me today because I'm not feeling well to drop to the office. That's not working in the visa. He's working. He gets paid for that. Where is the evidence?
Maelia lives and works in Australia legally, but Richard is here on a tourist visa that does not allow any work.
So no decision's been made just yet. We've made an initial decision because he holds the incorrect visa for what we think he's doing this morning.
Yeah, but the thinking doesn't mean right.
Let me finish. The visa hasn't been cancelled yet. He's just we with this for further interest.
Her brother Richard will be taken to the local police station, where immigration will interview him to decide whether or not to cancel his visa. And he is not the only one.
So has anyone got a passport or a driver's license that they haven't given to me?
The operation has located a number of other people who seem to have the wrong visas, including all the people in this van.
We're pulled over a van. It's full of Solomon Island nationals. Yep. And so far we've got 5 unlawfuls. Yep. And it looks like 6 people that are on visitor visas that aren't allowed to work.
Okay.
13 people are now taken to the Gatton police station, so formal interviews can be conducted and each person's immigration status can be confirmed.
Put that forward. Next one. Go on this one. You're the white card on this case.
At Sydney's International Mail Centre, Officer Jake is inspecting 3 suspicious packages that have arrived from Asia. And the very first one seems to have a concealment inside rolls of packing tape.
We're going to take it over to hazmat ID machine for testing. So if this is heroin, hazmat ID will tell us so. There we go. So here from Top Match, it's giving us heroin.
The second box full of toiletries is open, and a bottle of liquid soap is identified as the most likely place to conceal something.
Okay, so I expect to see quite a volume of body wash inside here, but in actual fact, there's very little, and it appears to be some kind of packages within this.
Customs and Border Protection are concerned that this Australian woman is trying to bring in an illicit substance inside a medication bottle.
The original, that's codeine, which is a highly restricted drug.
She also has a number of unidentified pills inside another container.
So the 3 tablets are in here, you know what big one is? Do you have any other medication to get it? Or has it been expired?
The pills will be taken and analysed to see if they are prohibited. But there could now be another problem, as a number of graphic adult magazines have been found that may be prohibited or restricted.
That doesn't actually all the way back because there are restrictions depending on the type of conflict that is. Talk about Australia, talk about export from Australia and import to Australia. Which is all at the moment, so I don't see English.
Yeah, I'm trying to go with
We're literally a solicitor, so we're a solicitor.
You can't use your phone for any purpose.
So how do you ring a solicitor?
Why do you need to ring a solicitor?
Well, I want to ring a solicitor. I want to ring a solicitor. I don't care what, I don't care. I want to ring a solicitor.
So, how many times have you done this before, driven the workers to work?
This Indonesian man, who was here on a tourist visa, was stopped at a dawn roadside operation, driving a busload of farm workers for his sister. And it may not be the only time he has done this.
About 1 month being here or 1.5 months, I don't know, maybe 10 times or 15 times, I forget.
Having admitted to driving the bus on a regular basis, Richard is issued with an intention to cancel his visa. Now he will have one last chance to plead his case.
I don't understand about situation in Australia. Come here just and my sister. I don't understand. I don't understand. I got the problem. I come to myself, I don't know. In my country, if you have family, you need to help. No need to pay, get the pay or something, just help. That's it.
Richard's response will need to be compelling, as it may be his only hope of remaining in Australia. An Australian woman and her companion, who are returning from Fiji, have been found to be carrying unidentified pills and adult magazines that may be prohibited or restricted.
No, because these guys have never told us, they told us nothing. They put us in a line and they didn't say why they were searching us. I don't have to tell you why we need to talk to us. You know what that is? That's reciprocal and nice. We spotted this guys, we just want to have a look at it. We don't. This is a wrong way to go about it. I really actually treat people like this. We really don't. If you can see guys, you want to have an extra bottle of booze in there, have a look. Do not do anything of the sort. And it's because I don't have to. Okay, that's fine. And but you need to actually make one big communication for us. So yeah.
Now I was like the supervisor. Let's talk to solicitor. Solicitor. There's no way is that going to change that we're going to check with our search.
Yeah, I know.
Check it out. We are happy.
Do the search.
I can call him out.
No other items of concern are found in the bags, but the magazines are taken away to be classified, while Supervising Officer Chris has the test results of the pills, and it's not good news.
Okay, so this test that's come back as a Border Control substance being morphine. We've also tested the other two substances, and they're also Border Control tablets, and we'll be seizing all the items today.
The liquid in the codeine bottle gets the all clear, as do the magazines. But the couple is not off the hook.
So the outcome for today is that we've issued an infringement notice of $340 for the Border Control substances. The pornographic material is classified to meet Australian standards and being released. The Australian Federal Police have also spoken to both passengers about importing of Border Control substances.
Finally, after paying the $340 fine, the couple is now free to go.
It was over nonsense, it was over medication. It was what was over. So I have a real problem with being dragged out and not being told what they're looking for.
But Customs and Border Protection don't need to give any explanation for conducting a search.
When you travel into Australia, all your belongings are under customs control until such time as they're released. So that's why we were searching our bags today.
At the Sydney International.
Desk protection
ultralong UVA powered by Maxirel 400.
Who is that?
At the Sydney International Mail Centre, 3
Mesh powder, it's fairly rocky. Let's take a small sample of the powder. There we go, medium red colour. Okay, so from here, I'm going to repackage, tape them up, and we'll send them off to the police. We're looking at about 400 grams of suspected element, and 3 hits in one day. So that's not good.
Immigration believes Richard has been working illegally for his sister. He is now faced with having his tourist visa cancelled. But first, he has one last chance to plead his case.
According to the tradition and the habits of Indonesia, members of the family, it is compulsory for them to help out other members of the family without being paid, and they have to do it unconditionally. And I feel that helping out family or even friends, I feel that is not breaching anything, or it should be classified as wrongdoing.
It's important to note, even if you are just helping out family, someone else could have been paid to do that job that you were doing today. Okay?
Officers discuss all the details of Richard's case to decide if he has breached his visa conditions.
So, but he hasn't disputed the fact that he is working. He just considers it helping, and he considers that not breaching his conditions, and he later said that if he had been aware of this breach, he wouldn't have done it. However, I'm satisfied there are grounds to cancel. He does breach his condition 8101, no work, and I'll go notify now if you're okay with that.
Richard is now given the bad news.
After weighing up all the information available to me, I'm satisfied that the grounds for cancelling the visa outweigh the reasons for not cancelling. I've therefore decided to cancel your visa.
Immigration will now allow his sister, Mailya, to come in to learn of Richard's fate. But she is far from happy with the decision.
I swear to God, this is not fair. It's a brother helping his sister. Doesn't mean he's working. He never worked, he only helping.
One of the clear indications that there's a definite breach here is that he said in the interview that he's run the people to work 10 to 15 times already just this month, in the time that he's been here in Australia. He's only arrived about just over a month ago. So he's definitely, it's not just a one-off, it's a repeated action that he's doing regularly.
After saying his goodbyes, Richard will be escorted to a detention centre, along with all the other people caught with expired visas or breaching their visa conditions. An elderly Swiss citizen has arrived in Melbourne, and Customs and Border Protection officers have noticed a few irregularities in his travel movements and plans.
Here for a holiday? We've Melbourne. Yeah, you come here for a holiday? Yes. What's your plan? What will you do? Oh, go to then take off from Sydney. Okay. I don't know exactly. Just okay. So why did you come to Melbourne?
He doesn't seem to have much of a plan for the short time he's here.
He's coming for 4 days on a holiday. He's been in Hong Kong for a holiday also. It just, he's a little vague, couldn't really understand why he's coming out here, so put him in, we're going to have a bit of a further look.
He seems to have an excessive amount of baggage for a short 4-day holiday. When asked the standard questions before every bag search, Officer Dave immediately senses a problem.
Okay, did you pack the bags yourself? It's not this one, yes. What about this one? Did you pack this one? No. Who packed that?
I have somebody, a friend from in Hong Kong.
A friend in Hong Kong packed it. Okay.
Here in Australia, the man is coming to the
Hotel to collect. Okay. What's your friend's name?
I don't know.
You don't know your friend's name?
For him not to know who packed his suitcase, and for someone to be collecting it from a hotel, gives an indication that this bag may contain something illegal. When arriving in Australia, most New Zealanders are automatically granted a special category visa, which allows them to live and work here. However, if a traveller has been sentenced to 12 months or more in prison, which is the case for this man, they will not be eligible for this visa.
So what we have done is we have contacted New Zealand police and asked for your criminal history check, yeah, and this is what has come back.
Yeah.
So could you please have a look?
The list of his charges is extensive, but it seems they all relate to cheque fraud committed in the 80s.
I just don't hold on to things that I should never have done. Then now I'm back.
Can you give me a little bit more detail?
I have a checkbook.
Yeah.
Never had the credit.
And you use the checkbook knowing that you actually have the money in the account, okay? So you changed 59 checks, is that why?
That's how the charges should be on me, or 50 something.
Okay.
To different places.
Different places, you don't remember what
All
was
over
it? Or whatever. Okay. So did you serve time in prison?
6 months.
6 months.
I was sentenced to 12 months.
Yeah.
But done 6.
This admission of a 12-month sentence makes him ineligible for the special category visa that he is hoping to enter on. And unless he has a very good reason for being here, he could be on the next plane back to New Zealand.
Why did you decide to get on the plane and come to Australia?
Really, it's to try and get my daughter that lives here and take her back to New Zealand. Because she's getting punched up by an Australian partner.
The culture enthusiasts. Track off bucket list ideas for every mood. Book channel at all.com.
And it gets worse, moment.
Up to 5 minutes.
And when your usual doesn't work, take Eurofin Express. Your case number 1.
Anything to declare?
In Sydney, biosecurity officers believe they may have detected organic material in the suitcases of this couple arriving from China.
Alright, this is you? You? Her? Okay.
Their incoming passenger cards are in their own language, Mandarin, on which they have stated they've nothing to declare.
You are fully aware of the contents of your bag?
Using a translation booklet, Officer Andrea gives them an opportunity to rethink their answers.
Do you have anything to declare? Leo? Nothing to declare. This one, look.
The couple is adamant that they have nothing to declare, but Officer Andrea is not convinced.
Open your bag. Yeah.
And as soon as their first bag is opened, the truth comes out. And they seem to think there's a simple solution to the trouble they are now in.
Oh, no, it's not just in the bin. Yeah, you said no, look.
The passenger card they have signed is a legal document, and making a false declaration can result in a hefty on-the-spot fine.
Good, look. It says nuts. Dried fruit. Monkey head mushroom. No good.
There are surprises stashed everywhere.
Egg. Oh, no good. Yeah, it's no. Yeah, you said mayo. No good. As I pull out the fruit, they're telling me just to discard it.
But as Officer Andrea moves on to search the second bag, the pile of undeclared items grows along with the passenger's annoyance. Okay. Without even having to search the bag of this Swiss man, Customs and Border Protection are confident one of the bags he is carrying will contain narcotics.
So do you know what's inside that suitcase? Okay.
The man explains that in a hotel in Hong Kong, the people showed him that the bag only contained clothes for him to bring to Australia.
Yeah, opened the thing and I have seen all the clothes.
Yeah.
And then I said, okay.
Okay.
I have no idea what the question is.
So you just know what he's told
Let's
you?
open them then.
Okay. Opened and had a look. Okay. All right. These two, they belong to you. The bags, the contents, that one belongs to your friend.
I don't know the name of the guy who's talking about it. I don't know.
Okay. What about the man who gave you the suitcase?
No.
You don't know his name either?
No.
Okay.
His story that he's carrying it for a friend and that someone will collect it from his hotel has all the classic indications of a drug mule.
Someone gives you a bag, you don't know their name, that's quite a concern for customs when crossing the border.
No, they haven't declared anything.
In Sydney, the suitcases belonging to this couple arriving from Beijing are revealing a wide variety of goods.
From the suitcase.
And even with the help of a translator, the couple have not come up with a valid reason for having provided misleading information about the contents of their luggage.
Okay, well,
They have been given numerous opportunities to declare the food items in their bags, including the help of a translation booklet.
okay, but when I asked for the report and I went through it several times, I gave them lots of opportunities. They've got a whole bag of fresh fruit which I haven't even opened yet. So this. Oh, see? Yeah, look at this. They've got too much food. Oh my goodness. Still coming out. Eggs, mail. The eggs can have the recipe Newcastle disease or avian influenza, national poultry industry. They've got some apples, fruit fly or pie guy. And I think they've got some oranges there as well, which could be citrus canker. Oh yeah, we have some meat as well. This, they're looking at a fine today.
One of his food will need to be destroyed. The fine could run into hundreds of dollars.
But I did give them lots of opportunities. Yeah, it's quite serious. When we're looking at biosecurity risks, they are some of the higher risks that we need to sort of prevent coming into the country. So we're just going to weigh everything up and get them to find them.
The couple is finally realizing how serious their situation is. In Melbourne, this concerned father is trying to convince immigration to allow him to enter the country to rescue his daughter, even though his criminal past may prevent him from doing so.
Because she's getting punched up by an Australian partner. But it's joking.
The man then explains that he decided to take the risk with his visa as he wanted to rescue his daughter as quickly as possible.
We had already booked tickets. And we sort of run out of time between getting on and coming over, flying over, or waiting for on the visa.
I assume your daughter knows that you're coming to Australia.
But she doesn't know why I'm here.
I will focus on against the world as a service, and I will tell you these are the profit. Do they data encryption, data exploitation, they do different things, but what they essentially do, they work together to extort money.
The essential thing is money for them. You know, they're all criminals, but they all regulate in a certain way. You pay in a certain way. If you don't fulfill your end of the bargain to your affiliates, you're not paying people. All that stuff gets out and it ruins their reputation.
哇，3个钟头，
Right,
我
we're
以
back.
为
This is Denver Daniel Coast.